It's Friday, January 16th. Today on Your Morning Atlantic, surveillance video captures a suspect tossing a grenade into a Cape Breton business last week. We'll show you more of the surveillance video just ahead in your top news headlines.
And rising from the ashes after a devastating Christmas Day fire, we'll find out how the vendors and customers of the Charlottetown Farmers Market are adjusting and getting back to business.
And salads aren't just for the summer. Best-selling cookbook author Greta Podletsky will join us to share a warm winter grain salad recipe that's perfect for chilly nights. All that and so much more just ahead on the Friday edition of Your Morning Atlantic.
Come on in, 6:01. On this Friday, January 16th. So glad you could join us. We made it through another week. And yeah, January can be a challenging month to get through. It can be.
Yep.
Short daylight hours, all over the map temperatures.
Gloomy, yeah.
And you have to kind of think about places like, I know that other parts of Canada, central Canada and a little bit further west, they're getting a lot of snow. That's impacting things.
Yeah, so we were still impacted by the same clipper that moved across Canada, but because we had that warmer air in place, we got rain instead of that heavy dumping of snowfall.
Yeah.
Wow. Could be worse, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, anyway, great. Hope you can tune in for the whole show today because we have all kinds of fun things, including that wonderful warm salad recipe. I love a warm salad.
I've never had one, but it sounds divine.
It's great.
Yeah.
It just doesn't taste as much like a salad. It's like heartier.
Okay.
For the gals who have a big appetite like myself, I love a warm, hearty salad.
my language, yeah.
I'm so happy Greta's returning on the show, too. I have that salad recipe book, and I'm loving it so much. It's good.
You might as well do the interview. You make those salads all the time.
They're pretty darn good, I'll tell you that much. But it is so odd talking about the weather. You were mentioning, too, how, like, the system has really impacted people in Ontario and as well as Quebec. It's worth noting, too, like, if you're a maritimer and you're heading to the airport because you're flying that way or elsewhere, check your flight because even though the weather around our region, really nothing compared to what they're experiencing. It is impacting flights.
Yes,
it is at this time for sure. Okay, so weather-wise, what are we looking at for Friday?
Well, temperatures are now starting to come down as we enter into the weekend. So cooler start to the day. Still on the warmer side of things right now. We'll start to see those temperatures drop as we head towards this afternoon and evening. We're still dealing with some mixed precipitation across the region as well. So rain for much of the maritime region before tapering off a little bit. So here's a look at a wet start to the day in Halifax. Currently 4 degrees as you head outdoors. As I mentioned, temperatures will continue to drop, so enjoy the warm temperatures that we have because they won't be lasting. 4 degrees as you head outdoors in Fredericton as well as into Charlottetown. 6 degrees early this morning in Sydney. Very cold in Labrador City at -36 and 10 degrees into St. John's, Newfoundland. We do still have watches and warnings in effect. We have a blowing snow advisory, a winter storm warning, a wind warning and rainfall warning across Newfoundland. I'll break that down in the full weather forecast coming up. We also have a winter storm warning and a wind warning for parts of Labrador. So here's a look at the current system still tracking across the region. We will be seeing rain early this morning for much of the Maritimes and into Newfoundland, but we will start to see this system slowly move out of the Maritimes into the afternoon, still seeing a chance of showers and or flurries. We are still dealing with some snowfall as well for parts of New Brunswick. In terms of the wind, it is starting off quite light, will continue to pick up into the afternoon yet again. 24 kilometers per hour right now in Grand Manan. We're looking at 31 in Edmundston, 17 in St. John, and then wind gusts getting up to 43 kilometers per hour in Edmundston, 35 in Grand Manan. We'll have a look at your long-range forecast just ahead, but first a look at your local news with Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. Prices at the pumps increased quite a bit overnight. In Nova Scotia's Zone 1, gas increased by nearly 5 cents a litre. The minimum price now $1.32.4. And diesel increased by 5.7 cents. The minimum price now $1.60.1. In Prince Edward Island, gas increased by 4 cents a litre. The minimum price now $1.43.3. And diesel on the island increased by 6.4 cents. The minimum price now $1.72.3. And in New Brunswick, gas jumped by nearly 4 cents a litre. The maximum price now $1.36.7. And diesel increased by 4.4 cents. The maximum price $1.72.4. RCMP in Nova Scotia say they have arrested a 41-year-old man who allegedly tried to assault an officer with a blowtorch. Police say they went to a home on O'Maclean Road near Scottsburn while investigating a truck theft Monday night. They say when a man at the scene was told he was under arrest, he allegedly lit a blowtorch and tried to burn the officer. Police say they used a stun gun on the man and took him into custody, finding methamphetamine during a search. Some newly released court documents suggest potential problems in the relationship of the couple caring for the missing Sullivan children. In newly unsealed court documents, the mother of the two children alleges her common-law partner was sometimes physically abusive during their 3-year relationship. The experts from police interviews with unproven allegations from Malayla Brooks Murray suggest stepfather Daniel Martel would try to block her, hold her down, and pushed her once. None of the allegations have been tested in court, and Martel is not facing any charges. He also denied the allegations to reporters, saying it is part of an ongoing narrative to make him, quote, look evil. 5-year-old Jack and his 6-year-old Lily Sullivan were reported missing from their home in Lansdowne Station on May 2nd. Multiple exhaustive searches have turned up no sign of either. A man was arrested yesterday after allegedly making threats that led to a lockdown at the Kings County Memorial Hospital in Montague. Charlottetown police say a man made a threat over the phone against a healthcare worker. The hospital and nearby clinics were locked down for a brief time, but soon reopened. Police say it appears to be an isolated incident with no threat to public safety. Newly released surveillance video appears to show the moment a live grenade was tossed into a Cape Breton business. Last week, a large area in downtown Sydney was evacuated and an emergency alert was issued after this incident at a car repair center on Pitt Street. The first video appears to show someone firing a slingshot up their front door, then trying to bust open the window with their elbow. Then a few minutes later, the person returns and breaks a hole in the window with what appears to be a hammer before tossing something inside, then running away. A third video shows what that looked like from inside of the business. So police were called to the scene at 7:30 a.m. The grenade was later detonated by a military explosives team from Halifax. No arrests have been made in the case and no one was hurt. Police say the investigation is ongoing. There's evidence a program designed to get people experiencing homelessness out of provincially funded hotel rooms and into long-term housing is working. The province says the number of people staying in those rooms has dropped dramatically over the past year, from more than 250 people to just 36. That's an 86% decrease. Officials credit the change largely to the province's master lease program, which helps people move into longer-term supportive housing.
When you're looking at people who are in emergency shelters for whatever reason, whether they're fleeing domestic violence or suddenly lost their job and become homeless, the most critical need is to feel safe. And so we had far too many people living in hotels with their families.
Launched in 2024, the program sees the province and support agencies partner to lease housing units and then sublease those who need housing for usually 30% of their income. The province says hotel rooms were always meant as a short-term emergency measure, not a permanent solution. Finally, an update for hockey fans at the U18 Women's World Hockey Championship, which is taking place in Sydney in member 2. Canada met Finland on the ice in the quarterfinal, and the Canadian team scored early and often and went on to defeat Finland 12-0. That win puts Canada in the semifinals, where they will face off against Czechia Saturday night. Team Canada just representing on home ice.
That's incredible.
They're very strong. Really strong.
Very strong. What a time to be in Sydney and member 2 to see these games live and in person.
Checked out the latest on ticket availability. Imagine they're pretty difficult to get, but hey, it's worth a shot.
Really worth a shot.
These are the stars of now and the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
So cool. I like the uniforms too. I like those maple leaf socks, if you will. I don't know if you call those socks.
Oh, the hockey, like the hockey socks?
Yeah. The leg coverings they're wearing. Very nice. All right. Let's talk about tech. Tech talk. Later, we're going to do TikTok.
Yeah.
But this is Tech Talk.
This is Tech
Google's
Talk.
AI assistant, Google Gemini, is launching something called personal intelligence. Okay, so company officials say users will now be able to link Google Apps with just one tap. It allows Google Gemini to tailor responses by accessing things like Gmail, photos, search, and YouTube history. Google says the goal is to improve your experience while keeping your data secure. Access is scheduled to roll over next week to eligible subscribers of Google AI Pro and AI Ultra, and once enabled, it will work on the web, Android, and iOS. So I checked into this a little bit. This rollout is for Canada too. So if you use Google Gemini, you have those paid services, then you get to use all this stuff.
So interesting. There's so many different AI services right now.
Oh gosh, it's really. I mean, I would even go so far as to say overwhelming.
Wow.
Yes.
As we try to navigate this new world of AI, which is rapidly changing. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to keep things simple here. Coming up, I'm going to have your first look at your national and international news headlines on this Friday morning, and Latavia has the Friday forecast. We're going to take our first live look at the hub city in Moncton. It is a wet start on Main Street. Looks like public transit is up and running. The forecast is next.
Oh. Happy Friday, Atlantic Canada. The time now is 6:14. We're taking a live look at Charlottetown. 4 degrees starting off your day, and we are expecting a chance of showers and or flurries remaining throughout your day today. Now, weather is brought to you by the Atlantic Lottery mobile app. We are still dealing with some warm temperatures across parts of Atlantic Canada. Temperatures will start to cool down, though. But as of right now, it is 4 degrees as you head outdoors in Fredericton as well as into Halifax. 5 degrees starting off your day in Sydney. Much colder over in Labrador City at -36 this morning. And 10 degrees starting off your day in St. John's, Newfoundland. Still dealing with this system across much of the region today, looking at a chance of flurries and or showers for parts of New Brunswick, and looking into a wintry mix for parts of Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia. But for the most part, we're going to see rain starting off your day and then see that mixed precipitation move into the afternoon. Still dealing with periods of snow for parts of Labrador, and for Newfoundland, also going to see a wintry mix into the afternoon. And then into this evening, that's when we start to see that mixed precipitation transfer over to just light snowfall into the overnight hours, carrying to early Saturday morning for the Maritime region. Newfoundland and Labrador still dealing with a wintry mix going into early Saturday, transitioning over to light snowfall into the early morning. If you're wondering about precipitation totals, we're going to still see some accumulation in terms of rainfall starting from now until early Saturday morning, seeing around 2 to 5 millimeters across Prince Edward Island and parts of Nova Scotia. The heaviest being into Cape Breton at around 10 to 20 millimeters. This is additional to what we received yesterday. Looking into our rainfall for Newfoundland, around 2 to 30 millimeters expected. And then for our snowfall outlook, seeing around 1 to 15 centimeters for parts of New Brunswick, 1 to 5 for Prince Edward Island, 10 to 15 for North Mountain, looking at 1 to 5 centimeters of accumulation for parts of Labrador, and the heaviest being 1 to 45 centimeters into parts of Newfoundland. Here's a look at our forecast today for New Brunswick. Daytime highs will range from -8 to 6 degrees. A chance of flurries and showers throughout the day today with wind gusts of 60. Prince Edward Island looking at a high of 4 degrees today. Rain mixed with snow for parts of the province with wind gusts of 80 kilometers per hour this afternoon. And then for Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, highs between 4 to 7 degrees. Rain and or snow across the province today with wind gusts of 80. For the rest of Nova Scotia, chance of showers and or flurries throughout your day today. Wind gusts of 80 kilometers per hour as well with highs between 4 to 6 degrees. Labrador City looking at a high of -23 degrees today. We do have sunshine throughout your day today. 11 degrees for St. John's, Newfoundland, looking at rain, transitioning over to chance of showers and or flurries into the evening. Saturday's forecast, a much cooler day ahead. We do have a chance of flurries tracking for parts of the Maritime region, becoming a bit steadier into the evening. We do have mixed precipitation moving into parts of Nova Scotia as well. And Sunday's forecast, another wintry mix ahead, cooler daytime highs expected as well. That's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. It is Prime Minister Mark Carney's last full day of meetings in Beijing. So far, the Canadian delegation has received a warm reception from Chinese officials. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has more.
A grand ceremony full of pageantry in China's House of Political Power, marking the restart of a Canada-China relationship that has been largely non-existent for years.
I believe the progress that we have made in the partnership sets us up well for the new world order. It's a partnership with new focus and greater depth and a sense of purpose.
Prime Minister Mark Carney receiving a warm welcome from various Chinese leaders Thursday, who said bilateral relations have hit a turning point.
China is prepared to work with Canada to follow through on the important consensus between our leaders and move forward our strategic partnership on a trajectory of healthy, steady, and sustainable development.
Agreements signed today pledge greater dialogue in areas including forestry, tourism, culture, and food safety. On energy, the pact recognizes Canada as an important potential partner in oil and gas.
What we heard loud and clear is China is looking for reliable trading partners that don't use energy for coercion.
The Prime Minister's last full day in Beijing is arguably the most important, and Canadians are likely to find out whether Canada was successful at removing or dropping the punishing Chinese tariffs on many Canadian agriculture products.
CTV's Annie Bergeron Oliver reporting in Beijing. Ottawa is confirming that a Canadian has been killed by authorities in Iran. The unidentified victim, one of thousands of people now believed to have been killed in the protests sweeping across that country. CTV's Mike Lecouture has more.
As anti-government protests blanketed Iran in recent weeks, we're learning a Canadian has died in the hands of Iranian authorities. In a post on social media, the Foreign Affairs Minister said, "Our consular officials are in contact with the victim's family in Canada, and my deepest condolences are with them at this time." While supporting the peaceful protests, Anita Anand said Canada condemns and calls for an immediate end to the Iranian regime's violence. According to some estimates, at least 2,500 people have been killed since the Iranian regime began cracking down on protesters. The White House says 800 executions were scheduled for today, but President Trump has been given assurances they will not happen.
The president and his team have communicated to the Iranian regime that if the killing continues, there will be grave consequences.
Perhaps a glimpse of some of those consequences, the U.S. Treasury Secretary announced sanctions against key members of the Iranian government.
Iran's leaders have brutally responded to peaceful demonstrations with violence, from mass shootings in the street to attacks on wounded victims in hospitals.
In an apparent appeal to the Trump administration, a video message from the exiled Crown Prince of Iran laid out his aspirations for the country if the current regime is toppled.
A free Iran will work with regional and global partners to confront terrorism, organized crime, drug trafficking, and extremist Islamism.
Well, that can only happen if the Islamic Republic is ousted. Meanwhile, with the recent crackdown on protesters, Canadians are being urged by Global Affairs Canada to leave Iran now. Mike Lecouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Thank you, Mike. A quick break now. When we return, we'll have your must-see moment from our colleagues at TSN, plus your business headlines. Your Morning Atlantic will be right back.
Move Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Weekday mornings on Move 100. The most fun in the morning. And home of the $1,000 minute. Only on Move 100 Halifax.
Superman turns 90.
Right?
Very impressive.
Who would have thunk it?
Who would have thunk it? It is now almost 6:25 and time to check in with our friends at TSN Sports Center for today's must-see moment.
Hello, Jermaine Franklin inside the TSN Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Thursday. For it, we go to Vegas. Leafs, Golden Knights, Toronto with some pretty passing. Austin Matthews to Max Domi to Bobby McMahon. Absolutely robbed by Aiden Hill. That, my friends, is the Scorpion. What an incredible save from the Vegas tender. And that is your must-see moment from Thursday. And tonight on TSN, it's an NBA doubleheader. Cavs taking on the 76ers, followed by the T-Wolves and Rockets. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
This TSN must-see moment brought to you by J.R. Rahe's Furniture and Appliances.
Now we'll take a look at your business headlines from our colleagues at BNN.
The association says pent-up demand from first-time buyers will lift the market in 2026. Lower interest rates and prices could also help. The association predicts sales will increase by 5% this year, with the biggest gains coming for BC and Ontario. It also forecasts the average home price increasing by just under 3%. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to $71.95. West Texas Intermediate down $2.80 to $59.08. Western Canadian Select up over $1 to $47.51. And the TSX gained 112 points to hit a new record close above 33,000 for the first time. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marella Fernandez.
Taking a look at our weekend forecast, we're looking into New Brunswick, a high of -2 degrees today. A chance of showers and or flurries across the province. Then on Saturday, a -3 is your daytime high. We're looking at snow and or rain continuing on Sunday. Mixed precipitation clears, a high of -2. Cloudy skies, but snow returns into the evening. Nova Scotia's looking at a high of 5 degrees today. Showers and or flurries across the province. On Saturday, 3 degrees with a chance of some flurries. We're also going to see a bit of sunny breaks. And then into the evening, snow and or rain moves back in. On Sunday, a wintry mix with a high of 3, becoming steady into the evening. Prince Edward Island seeing a high of 3 degrees today. Rain mixed with snow. On Saturday, we're looking at isolated flurries, a bit of sunshine, but then seeing wintry mix yet again into the evening. On Sunday, 1 degree with scattered flurries, evening snow.
Coming up in this half hour, the Move Morning Chat. Today we want to know what makes your neighborhood special. That conversation in about 15 minutes on Your Morning Atlantic.
Good morning. So looking forward to that conversation. I mean, we have viewers throughout Atlantic Canada. We know this through email and text, and this is just a great way to open up about what's so special about the community or neighborhood that you live in. Maybe it's a place that we can add to our bucket list to travel to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. I'll talk about what my neighborhood when I was a kid. I lived out in the country, as you know, on a farm, but for some reason the highway that I lived on had just not that far down the street an awesome business that still exists called the Northridge Dairy Freeze, and it's one of those diners where you drive in and the waitresses come right to your window and put the tray on your thing. Yes.
Wow.
What a fun place. Oh my gosh. To go get ice cream there, it was just a few steps away. What a dream.
That sounds so cool.
That sounds amazing. Yeah. If I ever find myself that way.
Oh, you need to go to the Dairy Freeze.
Gotta go to the Dairy Freeze.
You do. Not open right now, though. Not seasonal. It's a seasonal business.
Makes sense, especially when they're coming straight out to your car.
You don't need to really go that far to get a Dairy Freeze later today, I understand.
That is very true, Crystal. We are seeing temperatures really drop down, especially this evening, way below the freezing mark. So keep that in mind because we're seeing all this precipitation across the region. We could be dealing with some ice, right?
Okay.
Across
pooling on the roads.
Exactly.
Yikes.
So something to also keep in mind. And as you can see early this morning, it is quite wet starting off your day in Antigonish. We are still seeing rain for the most part for much of the Maritime region, but still dealing with a wintry mix for much of Atlantic Canada as well. Here's a look at our current temperatures as you head outdoors. 4 degrees in Fredericton as well as into Charlottetown and Halifax. 5 starting off your day in Sydney. We're looking at -36 heading outdoors in Labrador City and 11 into St. John's, Newfoundland. Factor in that wind chill, especially for Labrador. Going to feel a lot colder. We do have a risk of frostbite for parts of the province. A rainfall warning currently in effect for much of Newfoundland until this evening, looking at around 20 to 80 millimeters of additional precipitation. A blowing snow advisory also in effect with a wind warning across Newfoundland. A winter storm warning also in effect. And then for Labrador, looking at a winter storm warning and a wind warning. Taking a look at the current system tracking across the region, we're looking at snow and or rain for much of Newfoundland and Labrador. And then for the Maritime region, still dealing with rain mixed with snow for parts of the Maritimes, but for the most part, looking at periods of rain starting off your day. In terms of the wind, it's going to remain quite light as of right now, picking up into the afternoon. You can already see it picking up in Edmonton, 33 kilometers per hour starting off your day, 24 into St. John, New Brunswick, 26 in Yarmouth. Wind gusts of up to 50 kilometers per hour in Edmonton, 35 in Yarmouth, 28 in Grand Manan. We'll take another look at your long-range forecast just ahead, but first a look at your local news with Amanda.
Thank you so much, Latavia. And we begin with gas and diesel prices. They jumped quite a bit overnight. Beginning with Nova Scotia Zone 1, gas increased by nearly 5 cents a litre. The minimum price now $1.32.4. Diesel increased by 5.7 cents. The minimum price now $1.60.1. In Prince Edward Island, gas increased by 4 cents a litre. The minimum price now $1.43.3. And diesel increased by 6.4 cents. The minimum price now $1.72.3. In New Brunswick, gas jumped by nearly 4 cents a litre. The maximum price now $1.36.7. And diesel increased by 4.4 cents. The maximum price now $1.72.4. Newly released surveillance video appears to show the moment a live grenade was tossed into a Cape Breton business. Last week, a large area in downtown Sydney was evacuated and an emergency alert was issued after this incident at a car repair center on Pitt Street. The first video appears to show someone firing a slingshot at their front door, then trying to bust open the window with their elbow. A few minutes later, the person leaves and returns and breaks a hole in the window with what appears to be a hammer before tossing something inside and then running away. A third video then shows what that looked like from inside the business. Police were called to the scene at 7:30 a.m. and the grenade was later detonated by a military explosives team from Halifax. No arrests have been made in the case and no one was hurt. Police say the investigation is ongoing. There was another delay at the Jansen Baker double murder trial in Moncton. A bomb scare at the Moncton Law Courts delayed the trial for over 90 minutes, but proceedings got underway just after 11 a.m. Testimony came from RCMP officers who worked on the investigation. The 29-year-old Baker has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of Bernard and Rosemary Saunier, who were shot to death in their home in Dieppe in September of 2019. The trial will resume on Monday. A decade after it closed, pressure seems to be mounting on the owners of a maritime potash mine to consider reopening it. Saskatchewan-based Nutrien still employs about 80 people at the site near Sussex to mine salt for de-icing roads. But the company says there's no clear, viable path to go back to mining potash. The Natural Resources Minister has been urging Nutrien to provide a list of what it would need to reopen.
There isn't common ground or common understanding in that process. I could envision you could see a regulatory framework that would call upon that company to begin a process of either handing over, if it's in the form of a claim, or and this would be far more complex, would be commencing a process where they would sell that geological asset.
John Herron will unveil the province's new comprehensive mineral strategy in March, which would detail steps to reopen the site. Word that the Halifax Casino is relocating to a business park in Dartmouth is generating a lot of buzz in the real estate and planning communities.
Opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. Since I came to Nova Scotia, I haven't seen a great opportunity site like this open up.
Assessed at nearly $50 million. Few spots are better than the current location, so you'd expect buyers to line up for the waterfront property, especially with a large housing development in the works across the street.
I'm thinking, basketball courts, some hardcore things, maybe some pickleball courts, really, truly recreational open space for people who are living in the downtown.
It is a very unique property, and generally speaking, the more unique a property, the more it can present challenges for repurposing it.
The Premier agrees there's much to consider and vows the province will work through the best offers and options. Now to the ice. The U18 Women's World Hockey Championship, of course, is taking place in Sydney in member 2. Canada met Finland on the ice in the quarterfinal, and the Canadian team scored early and often and went on to defeat Finland 12-0. The win puts Canada in the semifinals, where they'll face off against Czechia Saturday night. Finally, winter got you down. Well, this Canadian resident seems to love it. Any excuse to show an adorable animal on the show, we're going to take it. So the team over at the Cochrane, Ontario Polar Bear Habitat capturing this magical moment of Henry playing in the snow with a gourd. Under the caption, pumpkins can be food and fun, which is true.
Why not? I actually agree completely.
See, pumpkins aren't just for the fall.
Oh my gosh.
I just threw out my pumpkins that were on my balcony.
Are you serious?
You still had your
they
pumpkins?
looked like, I was like, wow, they're still going. They looked like they were perfect. They were not perfect.
It was probably best for the safety of you and your family, because a polar bear might have come and stolen them.
Right? That's what I was thinking.
Oh my gosh. I'm bringing you back again to my childhood, but if you need to ask the price of these cars, you cannot afford them. The Gallery is a fundraiser held during the Detroit Auto Show, which is now underway. Guests pay $250 for a chance to check out some of the world's most exclusive cars, but we get to see them for free now. We got Bentley, Lamborghini, McLaren. All the top brands had cars at the show. Money from the fundraiser will benefit a local food bank. But in our region, of course, you can visit Steel Wheels Motor Museum for a fraction of the cost to see many rare and unique automobiles. But yeah, I've been to the auto show because it was just across the river.
Wow. Did you have to pay $250?
Certainly not. I think I was doing something like, I don't know what, for school. Anyway, it was free for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's well, listen, I'm glad to hear a lot of it's going to a local food bank, because we know the need's certainly great.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, Steel Wheels, really, if you're looking for something to do on a cold day, there's some really neat vehicles in there, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about you two, but my husband will say, oh, whoa, did you see that car that went by? It was a what. And I'm like, I do not know what that
I know
is.
a lot about cars.
Do you
I watch Top Gear all season, so.
Really?
Well-versed, yeah.
Oh, I'd love for you to do like a car segment. I'd be all over that. I'd love it. Okay.
We'll have you do that. That'd be great. Okay, we're going to have your entertainment headlines on this Friday, but coming up next, it's the Move Morning Chat. Today, we're asking what makes your neighborhood so special. That conversation coming up here on Your Morning Atlantic.
A wet start to the day over in St. John's, Newfoundland. Welcome back. The time now is 6:43 on your Friday morning. Rain at times heavy is expected in your area, currently 11 degrees. We are seeing a bit of warm temperatures still remain early in the morning before starting to cool down into the afternoon for our daytime highs. As of right now, it is 4 degrees in Fredericton as well as into Charlottetown and Halifax, 5 in Sydney, much colder in Labrador City at -36 today. Taking a look at the rainfall warning for much of Newfoundland until this evening, still see around 20 to 80 millimeters of additional precipitation. A blowing snow advisory for tonight until early Saturday morning for western Newfoundland. Could see around 5 to 10 centimeters within that blowing snow, wind gusts of 70. And a wind warning also in effect, seeing wind gusts between 80 to 110 kilometers per hour this afternoon until tonight. We do have a winter storm warning also in effect for parts of Newfoundland. Could see up to 20 centimeters of accumulation and wind gusts of up to 90. A winter storm warning also in effect for parts of Labrador. This is until early Saturday morning. We're expecting around 20 to 30 centimeters of snowfall and wind gusts of up to 90 kilometers per hour, with wind gusts in a wind warning up to 100 kilometers per hour as well. Here's a look at our forecast timeline. Still dealing with a wintry mix for parts of the region. Starting off early this morning, we're looking at rain mixed with snow for northern New Brunswick. And for the most part, seeing periods of rain early in the morning for much of the maritime region. Also seeing periods of rain at times heavy across Newfoundland this morning. And then into the afternoon, we're going to start to see this wintry mix start to transition. We do have a risk of some freezing rain for parts of Nova Scotia into parts of Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick. So starting to see that snow transition over for the maritime Maritime region. Also, periods of snow remain for parts of Labrador, and then seeing a wintry mix now enter into parts of Newfoundland. Into the evening, a lot of this mixed precipitation transitions over to flurry activity for the Maritime region, and seeing snow with a bit of a wet snow and a risk of freezing rain for parts of Newfoundland into early Saturday morning. We start to see the system really clear out of the Maritime region. If you're wondering about precipitation totals, 2 to 5 millimeters of additional precipitation across Prince Edward Island today, parts of Nova Scotia, the heaviest being 10 to 20 millimeters for Cape Breton Island. And then for Newfoundland, we're looking at around 2 to 30 millimeters as well. For a snowfall outlook, looking at around 1 to 15 centimeters for parts of New Brunswick, 1 to 5 for Prince Edward Island, 10 to 15 centimeters for North Mountain, and then for Labrador, 1 to 5 centimeters of accumulation, and the heaviest being 30 to 45 centimeters for St. Anthony. For our forecast today for New Brunswick, looking at daytime highs between -8 to 6 degrees today. A chance of flurries and or showers expected throughout your day with a wind gust of 60. For Prince Edward Island, a high of 4 degrees today. Rain mixed with snow for the majority of the day. Transitions over to flurries into the evening. Wind gusts of 80. And then for Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, daytime highs between 4 to 7 degrees. Looking at rain or snow throughout your day. For the rest of Nova Scotia, highs between 4 to 6 degrees. Chance of showers and or flurries will remain into the afternoon, but starting off with periods of rain. For Labrador City, a high of -3 degrees today. We do have sunshine for this part of the province. 11 degrees for St. John's, Newfoundland. Rain transitions over to chance of showers and or flurries into the evening. Saturday's forecast, much cooler day ahead. We do have a chance of flurries for much of the Maritime region. For parts of Nova Scotia, seeing a bit of a wintry mix. And then for Sunday's forecast, the system starts to slowly move out, but we're still dealing with a wintry mix for much of the region. That's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to the Move Morning Chat.
It's the Friday edition of the Move Morning Chat, and today we're talking about what you love about your neighborhood, what makes it so special. And Erin, you have a special story for this one.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody's neighborhood is unique. We all love where we live, and I just moved a couple months ago into the beautiful neighborhood of the north end of Halifax. And I walk a lot, and over the last few months, I've been, walking around new places in the neighborhood, making new discoveries. And I came across something that just seemed so lovely and special in my neighborhood. And it's called the North End Vinyl Exchange. It's on somebody's front lawn, a big box, kind of like you see those libraries where you can, leave an old book and take a new one. But this one is specifically for vinyl, and it's a total hidden gem in my neighborhood. You can swap out your old records. You can take something new. There's always something there. The neighborhood is filling it up. I just thought it was so cute to have that in the neighborhood. I've never seen anything like it, so I had to share that. And now we're hearing all sorts of stories about what makes the Move family's neighborhood special. Peter, you've been in your neighborhood for many, many years.
Yeah, for over 30 years now. And I mean, I could go on forever about this, but let me just tell you, I live in Waverley. Now, Waverley is a small community outside of Halifax, quite near to the airport. But I have been going there even before we moved there because I just love this community so much, and the lakes that are alongside of it that you drive along to get to this community. Waverley, named after a novel series by Sir Walter Scott, which I think is pretty darn cool as well. And when we moved into the neighborhood, it's like an instant neighborhood. I mean, the school was close, the post office, the church, the people who had been there for years all embraced us. So I think my neighborhood's pretty darn cool.
That sounds amazing. The Vinyl Exchange, so cool. Never heard of that before. Cool. I'll be checking that out as well. What about you, Amanda? What do you love about your neighborhood?
Well, listen, we have viewers from across the Maritime, so I'm actually I love the neighborhood I'm currently in, but I'm going to take it back about, more than 10 years when I lived in Uptown St. John. And if you haven't visited or lived in Uptown St. John, you are missing out. I was right on Canterbury Street, so I was a walk away from everything. I got my groceries from the historic St. John Market. I would go running along the waterfront. I would get my coffee from Java Moose, a local supplier. Delicious, wonderful community. It also has so many great little shops there as well. And one of the neat things I loved about living there is from my apartment, I could see the cruise ships come in. And at that point, they had the Disney cruise ships as well. So you would hear this special musical honk that they had to let you know that they were coming in for the day. And it was just such a special memory for me. So yes, I love where I live now, but thinking about where I've lived in the Maritimes, I mean, Uptown St. John really stood out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, for me, obviously, well, not obvious. I love the water, and I feel my best when I'm by the ocean or by a body of water. So where I live now, it's nice that I can look out and see the water. But I'm going to throw it back as well. When I first moved here over 5 years ago, wild, I was living on Spring Garden.
Wow.
Right across from the public gardens. It was such an amazing spot. I could walk to the waterfront. Everything was around you, and it was just constantly alive, which was really cool because it kind of brought my roots of like being a city girl back in Toronto, made me feel at home. So that's where I like the most too.
Guys, we live in great spots, don't we? And you two have a new contest to share.
Yeah, actually, we kicked that off this morning. Password to Paradise. We're giving away 30 trips for two to Beaches, Turks, and Caicos. We give a password out on the radio every 2 hours between 6 and 6. And starting next week, we're giving away 30 trips. So tune in, and maybe you'll be heading down to Beaches, Turks, and Caicos.
Oh, if only I could enter.
Yeah, 30 trips, lots of opportunities. Password to Paradise.
Oh, yeah.
That is so exciting. And you know what's nice about it going on a trip too? When you get to come back home to the neighborhood you love and you realize, you know what, that was nice, but boy, do I ever love where I live. So we're throwing that question to our viewers this morning. What makes your neighborhood special? Why do you love it so much? Send us a text at 10400. We'll share your answers later in the show.
Welcome back. The time now is 6:55. We're going to head over to Hollywood, and we'll take a look at your entertainment headlines.
A shakeup in the Star Wars universe. Disney has announced Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down as president of Lucasfilm, where she's been in charge for nearly 14 years. She'll return to full-time producing. The company says Dave Filoni will now take on the creative leadership role at Lucasfilm as both president and chief creative officer. Disney is the parent company of ABC News. Harry Styles' long-awaited fourth studio album will be out this spring. The former One Direction star has announced his new album, Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally, will arrive on March 6th. It's Styles' first full-length project in 4 years.
What happened?
You had an accident.
An accident, huh?
Here Comes the Bride. A trailer for director Maggie Gyllenhaal's reimagining of The Bride of Frankenstein has arrived, starring Golden Globe winner Jessie Buckley as the bride and Christian Bale as Frankenstein's monster. The Bride hits theaters March 6th.
This is a time of war.
It's a Game of Thrones reunion. Sophie Turner and Kit Harington, who played brother and sister in the hit HBO series, are now co-starring as lovers in the new gothic horror film called The Dreadful. It'll be out February 20th. And happy birthday to Hamilton star and creator Lin-Manuel Miranda. He turns 46 today. That's what's happening in Hollywood. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News.
We'll take another look at your 3-day forecast, looking at showers and or flurries today with a high of -2 for New Brunswick, -3 degrees for Saturday. Snow and or rain returns, and then on Sunday, -2 degrees is your daytime high, cloudy skies with evening snow. Nova Scotia will also be dealing with a wintry mix today with a high of 5 degrees, 3 degrees on Saturday, scattered flurries with a bit of sunshine, and then looking at snow and or rain into the evening. On Sunday, daytime high remains at 3. Showers and or flurries expected, becoming steady into the evening. 3 degrees on Friday today for Prince Edward Island, rain mixed with snow. Flurries into Saturday with a high of -3. And then on Sunday, a high of 1, scattered flurries.
It's Friday, January 16th. Today on Your Morning Atlantic, surveillance video captures a suspect tossing a grenade into a Cape Breton business last week. We'll have more of the video and your top news headlines just ahead.
And bouncing back, we'll find out how the folks at the Charlottetown Farmers Market are adjusting after the market suffered substantial damage in a Christmas Day fire. Those stories and more coming up on the Friday edition of Your Morning Atlantic.
Good morning, Atlantic Canada. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Friday. Finally, we made it to the end of the week. 7 o'clock right now. And yeah, I'm excited. I know it's going to be a
What are you excited
crappy
about?
weekend.
Expand on that. I want to get excited with you.
Just to sit and do nothing.
On the weekend, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
literally in my like hobo clothes and just my threads that are hanging off me.
Isn't that fun?
It's so much fun.
Oh, I love to do that. But then, like, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and somebody comes to the door. You're like, oh my gosh, do I answer it? Do I not answer it?
Oh, I have no shame. When I am not on television, you will catch me in like the bummiest clothes everywhere. I used to go outside my house and like when I lived in a house with my robe on, and Kyle would get so mad. He's like, what is wrong with you? I'm still wearing Christmas pajamas. People have seen me in my building in them.
Yeah.
No shame.
It's funny.
Oh,
so funny.
my gosh.
It's funny people, you go out and you're like that, people still recognize you, which I find hilarious.
You know what's funny? I don't think people really recognize my face most of the time. They're like my voice.
Yeah, same.
And then I'm like, wow, I look drastically different without makeup, I'm assuming. Like, oh.
No, you're not alone. It's the voice.
Yeah,
it's usually,
always.
Yeah. Absolutely. Especially, too, when you have so much to say when it comes to the weather, because it's like we're just finishing this one weather system, and now we have another one.
Oh, we've been in this cycle lately, just over and over and over.
Ooh, not going to go skateboarding today.
Nope. Don't want to get those wheels wet. It's pretty warm in Yarmouth starting off the day. It's 3 degrees, so not as warm as yesterday, but we're still holding on to this warm air across parts of Atlantic Canada, really beginning to start to cool down as we head towards this afternoon, especially into the evening. But as of right now, it is 3 degrees as you head outdoors in Fredericton, 4 in Charlottetown and Halifax, 5 degrees in Sydney, 11 into St. John's, Newfoundland. Factor in that wind chill specifically over in Labrador. We do have a risk of frostbite, so keep that in mind if you are heading out there. We do have a rainfall warning in effect for much of Newfoundland until this evening, a blowing snow advisory, a wind warning, and a winter storm warning for parts of the province, as well as a wind warning and winter storm warning for parts of Labrador. So we're still dealing with this wintry mix for much of Atlantic Canada. Keep this in mind. Allot some extra time out on your morning commute, looking at rain mixed with snow for parts of the Maritime region. For the most part, dealing with periods of rain early this morning, as well as into Newfoundland, dealing with a bit of a wintry mix, but for the most part, rain at times heavy. In terms of the wind, starting off a bit light, will continue to pick up into this afternoon. As of right now, 33 kilometers per hour in Edmundston, 19 in St. John, New Brunswick, 26 in Yarmouth. Wind gusts of up to 48 in Edmundston, 35 in Yarmouth, and 28 in Grand Manan. We'll take another look at your weekend forecast just ahead, but first a look at your local news with Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. And we begin with a big jump at the pumps when it comes to how much you're going to pay. In Nova Scotia Zone 1, gas increased overnight by nearly 5 cents a litre. The minimum price now $1.32.4. Diesel increased by 5.7 cents. The minimum price now $1.60.1 a litre. In Prince Edward Island, gas increased by 4 cents a litre. The minimum price now $1.43.3. And diesel increased by 6.4 cents. The minimum price for PEI, $1.72.3. In New Brunswick, gas jumped by nearly 4 cents. The maximum price now $1.36.7. And diesel increased by 4.4 cents. The maximum price $1.72.4. RCMP in Nova Scotia say they have arrested a 41-year-old man who allegedly tried to assault an officer with a blowtorch. Police say when they went to a home on O'Maclean Road near Scottsburn, they were investigating a truck theft Monday night. They say when a man at the scene was told he was under arrest, he allegedly lit a blowtorch and tried to burn the officer. Police say they used a stun gun on the man and took him into custody, finding methamphetamine during a search. The mother of 2 missing children in Nova Scotia alleges that her common-law partner was sometimes physically abusive and hurt her. The newly unsealed court documents include unproven allegations and excerpts from interviews with Malayla Brooks Murray. On May 2nd, 2025, she called 911 to report that 4-year-old Jack Sullivan and 6-year-old Lily had wandered away from their home north of Halifax. According to police, Brooks Murray told investigators the children's stepfather, Daniel Martel, would sometimes hold her down and once pushed her. When reached by phone, Martel denied the allegations and said they are part of a narrative designed to make him look evil. Newly released surveillance video appears to show the moment a live grenade was tossed into a Cape Breton business. Last week, a large area in downtown Sydney was evacuated and an emergency alert was issued after this incident at a car repair center on Pitt Street. The first video appears to show someone firing a slingshot at their front door, then trying to bust open the window with their elbow. A few minutes later, the person returns and breaks a hole in the window with what appears to be a hammer before tossing something inside, then running away. Then a third video shows what that looked like from inside of the business. Police were called to the scene at 7:30 in the morning. The grenade was later detonated by a military explosives team from Halifax. No arrests have been made in the case and no one was hurt. Police say the investigation is ongoing. Finally, if you're thinking of adopting an animal, why not consider something small, even pocket-sized? As CTV's Stephanie Seacos tells us, hundreds of small animals end up in shelters each year, and they need homes just like dogs and cats.
The Nova Scotia SPCA is full of animals, including dozens of smaller critters looking for their forever homes.
Those can range from our smaller, what we call pocket pets because of their size, pets like guinea pigs or hamsters or rats as well, to birds.
While it's not as common for the SPCA to receive those types of animals,
Here you go.
Many end up in the shelter each year.
We get about 350 critters in our shelters. Compare that, we get over 1,000 dogs a year and over 3,000 cats a year.
The most common critters are rabbits and bunnies.
They may be stray. They do breed quite rapidly and have larger litters, so it can quickly get overwhelming for someone. Also, the commitment of owning a rabbit is something that you have to be prepared for. Hey, buddy.
Brianna Fay, the manager at the Dartmouth shelter, says the most important thing to know when getting a small animal is socialization.
They can't be left for long periods, without having human interaction. And sometimes it is beneficial to have a friend. Like guinea pigs, they really do thrive with having a friend with them at all times. Rabbits can kind of be a hit or miss.
Whether you're looking for a pocket pet or something bigger, the SPCA recommends turning to adoption. Stephanie Seacos, CTV News, Dartmouth.
Oh, very fluffy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Some of those pets they showed there are exotics that are very expensive. You would do very well to give one of those beautiful creatures a home. And they're good pets. I've had bunnies.
Pocket pets.
Pocket pets. Well, speaking of big pets, horses, a new study finds that horses really can smell our fear. This is neat. So researchers collected samples of study participants' armpit odor when they were feeling scared, happy, and neutral. The researchers then exposed the horses to the different odors during standardized tests and observed the animals' behavior. Analysis showed that both the horses' behavior and physiology were influenced by the human odor compounds. In fact, horses exposed to odor compounds from volunteers who had watched scary footage were more likely to startle and were less likely to approach people or investigate unfamiliar objects. The research was published this week in the journal PLOS ONE.
Just want to say, I feel really sad for the horses. I'm so sorry. They probably were devastated to have to smell all those BO and so forth. They're like, are you serious right now? No wonder they were put off.
See how big my nose is? I can smell that.
But that's just one of the ways that horses sense.
Oh, yeah,
They know what's going on.
I'm just
of course. But just having visited the Halifax Lancers, like the horse really senses what's going on with you.
100%. I feel like anyone who spent time around horses, they're like, yeah, this checks out. They can read you. They know.
Exactly. And one other quick fact about horses I learned, they use their lips kind of like a nose and stuff. Like they're not trying to bite you. They're kind of like checking you out when they do this.
Got a lot of sensors there. Yeah.
They're so cute.
Okay, still ahead, we're going to have your national news headlines, and Latavia will have another look at the Friday forecast. Good morning to everyone in Uptown St. John this morning. Quiet start to your Friday. Forecast is next.
Welcome back and happy Friday. The time now is 7:13. We're taking a live look at Bedeque. Expecting rain early this morning before transitioning over to rain mixed with snow and then seeing snow until the late afternoon. Currently 5 degrees in your area. Weather is brought to you by Atlantic Canada Atlantic Lottery mobile app, rather. We are in Atlantic Canada. Starting off, it is still warm for parts of Atlantic Canada. As of right now, 3 degrees in Fredericton, 4 heading out in Charlottetown and in Halifax, with 5 degrees over in Sydney, 11 starting off your day in St. John's, Newfoundland. A rainfall warning for much of Newfoundland until this evening. Could see rainfall between 20 to 80 millimeters. A blowing snow advisory also in effect for tonight until early Saturday. And we're looking at a wind warning this afternoon until tonight for much of the province. Wind gusts between 80 to 110 kilometers per hour. A winter storm warning also in effect for parts of Newfoundland. Could see snowfall at around 20 centimeters, wind gusts of 90 kilometers per hour. For Labrador, also going to see a wind warning in effect for Saturday afternoon and evening, wind gusts of 100 kilometers per hour, with a winter storm warning today until early Saturday. Snowfall up to 30 centimeters expected and wind gusts of 90. Here's a look at that current system tracking across Atlantic Canada. For the most part, we will be seeing rain mixed with snow for parts of the region and a lot of precipitation, at times heavy, for parts of Newfoundland. Into the afternoon, we start to see this system kind of shift. We're going to see snow for the most part for parts of the maritime region, still dealing with rain for Prince Edward Island and Cape Breton Island. But we are also going to see that risk of freezing rain move in for parts of all 3 maritime provinces. And then into this evening, that's when we start to see a chance of flurries move in for parts of all 3 maritime provinces, still holding on to snowfall for parts of Labrador. And then for Newfoundland, also still dealing with a wintry mix. Taking us into early Saturday morning, we are going to see a flurry activity for Cape Breton Island early in the morning. If you're wondering about precipitation totals, seeing around 2 to 5 millimeters across Prince Edward Island and parts of Nova Scotia. The heaviest being into Cape Breton Island at around 10 to 20 millimeters. And for Newfoundland as well, seeing the heaviest at around 2 to 30 millimeters of precipitation. In terms of our snowfall outlook, 1 to 15 centimeters expected for parts of New Brunswick, 1 to 5 for parts of Prince Edward Island, 10 to 15 into North Mountain. For Labrador City, looking at around 1 to 5 centimeters for parts of that part of the province. And then the heaviest being St. Anthony, 30 to 45 centimeters. Over to our forecast today for New Brunswick, daytime highs widely ranging from -9 to 4 degrees. Flurries and or showers across the province today, wind gusts of 60. Prince Edward Island highs between 3 to 4 degrees, rain mixed with snow, wind gust of 80 kilometers per hour. And then for Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, rain and or snow today as well. Wind out of the southwest, 50 gusting to 80, and daytime highs between 4 to 6 degrees. For the rest of Nova Scotia, highs between 3 to 6 degrees. We're looking at showers and or flurries as well. And then for Labrador City, seeing sunshine today, but very cold, -23 degrees is your daytime high. 11 degrees into St. John's, Newfoundland. Rain transitions over to a wintry mix into the evening. For Saturday's forecast, it's going to be much cooler for our daytime highs. We're going to start to see a chance of flurries move in. And then into the evening hours, looking at flurries and or showers. And for Newfoundland and Labrador, seeing a bit of a light dusting of some snowfall. Into Sunday morning, we start to see another low pressure system make its way over. Rain and or snow for parts of Atlantic Canada. Temperatures cooling down even further. That's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado met with President Trump behind closed doors at the White House. The meeting marked the first time the two met in person. This after the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Trump has declined to endorse Machado, who has been a vocal critic of Maduro's and his regime that has ruled Venezuela for the past 26 years. After the meeting, she said she gave Trump her Nobel Peace Prize medal.
I presented the President of the United States the medal of the Nobel Peace Prize. The people of Bolivar are giving back to the heir of Washington a medal, in this case the medal of the Nobel Peace Prize, as a recognition for his unique commitment with our freedom.
Trump confirmed later on social media that Machado had left the medal for him to keep, and he said it was an honor to meet her. Home sales across Canada saw a big dip last year, but there are new signs there could be a rebound, but how significant? CTV's Abigail Beeman tells us.
My father talked about his first house that he bought was $80,000, which is now my down payment.
John Gilmer is like so many millennials struggling to buy a first home.
Feels almost like spinning tires.
Even with a household income above $200,000 a year.
The target keeps getting raised as fast as our savings.
Water building up behind a dam.
The Canadian Real Estate Association cites pent-up demand from first-time buyers like Gilmer as a key driver for its new projection of some growth in sales and prices after sales fell in 2025, saying interest rates have come down enough to make a difference. After a 1.9% drop, CREA projects national home sales will climb 5.1% in 2026 and 3.5% in 2027. House prices predicted to climb slightly too, to a national average just under $700,000 this year and $715,000 next year.
People in their 30s who are saying, I need something big enough to start a family in, it doesn't exist. Or it exists in the legacy detached space, which is very expensive.
The so-called missing middle of affordable options.
People aren't necessarily interested in like a condominium townhouse or a condo itself, and they're having trouble getting into like a freehold.
CREA says over the last 2 decades, there's been a switch from building low-density detached housing to building mostly apartments. John Gilmer is hopeful 2026 will be his year to enter the market, thanks to savings, lower interest rates, and financial help from his parents.
$2,700 a month that I'm paying in rent could be used in much better manner where I'm building equity.
The Prime Minister has committed to doubling the rate of home construction. CREA says it has a sense of optimism about the federal Build Canada Homes Agency, but for the medium to long term, while the problem of affordable housing remains pressing today. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Thank you, Abigail. When we return, Crystal will have a conversation with the Charlottetown Farmers Market and find out how they are rebounding since that Christmas Day fire. That conversation coming up right after the break. Please stay with us.
Welcome back. The time now is 7:23. We're taking a look at the 3-day forecast for New Brunswick. It's going to be cooler today. -2 degrees is your daytime high. Showers and/or flurries across the province. On Saturday, seeing a wintry mix yet again with a high of -3. And then on Sunday, -2 degrees, looking at cloudy skies with evening snow. Nova Scotia will see a high of 5 degrees today. Showers and/or flurries across the province. On Saturday, 3 degrees, some sunshine, but also scattered flurries, transitioning over to steadier snow and/or rain. And then on Sunday, 3 degrees with chance of flurries and/or showers, snow and/or rain into the evening. Prince Edward Island looking at a high of 3 degrees. Today, rain mixed with snow. On Saturday, a high of -3 degrees. We're looking at some isolated flurries, snow and/or rain into the evening. Then on Sunday, a high of 1, scattered flurries with evening snow. Now we'll throw things over to Crystal.
All right, we are at what's going on with the Halifax Thunderbirds, who's at Bellevaux. Got a chance to catch up with all the action.
Your Halifax Thunderbirds are back in the nest tonight as they take on the Colorado Mammoth. I have Tyson Bell and Graham Hossack with me this morning to chat about the game and what you can expect. Gentlemen, so nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, too.
Thank you. Tyson, let's start with you. You haven't played Colorado a whole lot. They've just won 2 games, so how are you feeling going into tonight?
We're feeling good. Obviously, a little redemption from last year playing against them, and then just with the past doubleheader that we had. We're looking to get back in the win column, and it should be an exciting, full energy game, as it always is back at home.
So much energy at Scotiabank Centre, which I'm sure you guys love too.
Love it.
Graham, for fans that haven't seen you play Colorado yet, what can they expect from that team?
They're going to be a fast-paced offense. They're going to be cutting a lot. Once again, they're a pretty athletic team. I know on the defensive end, they will like to push it. I think we will have some opportunities to get some transition opportunities too. So I think it's going to be a fast-paced game. They have a good goalie, so it's going to be an exciting one.
That's going to be really exciting, and that's when us fans, we all need to bring the energy, right? Because that's what it's all about. Really exciting time for you guys, too, because this game and 2 more games are at home, which I know you love. Nice to have that home energy and that home advantage. Tell me a bit about the perks of playing at home in front of the hometown crowd.
I think just, it's cliche to say, but we have the best fans in the league. And they show out every single home game we have.
You know, whether if it's the first game of the season or last game of the season, we always tend to sell out the barn, and you know that's good for us. It's big for us players, especially being on the floor. You know, and that starts just from first warm up, right? People showing up super early to come watch us, and you know they continuously do that, and you know we're very thankful for them.
Yeah, absolutely. You certainly draw a large crowd. Tonight's game is beach theme. It's beach night at the Scotiabank Centre with the Thunderbirds. Gentlemen, I gotta ask, if you could be on any beach right now, where would we find you?
I don't know, just any beach would be nice, but somewhere warm. Obviously get away from the snow a little bit, get to relax and enjoy the sun.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good right about now, too. Tyson, what about you?
I would be at Scotia Beach Friday night against Colorado Mammoth. That's the spot to be.
That is the spot to be. That's the beach to be at, exactly. And there are still very few tickets available for tonight's game as your Halifax Thunderbirds take on the Colorado Mammoth. Get them while you can. They are certainly a popular ticket.
Thank you so much, Suzette. Yes, when the Thunderbirds put on a theme night, they commit. It's going to be so much fun tonight. And if you're a Thunderbirds fan or have been meaning to head to the Nest to catch a game, our brand new contest is for you. CTV wants to team up the Halifax Thunderbirds to offer you the chance to win 4 tickets to the January 31st game where the T-Birds face off against the Georgia Swarm. You'll also get a chance to watch the pregame warm-up from the penalty box, a night at the Halifax Marriott Harbourfront Hotel, and a $100 gift card to the Harbourstone Poorhouse. To enter, head to our website. The contest closes Saturday. We will announce the winner next Friday. Good luck to you, and have fun at the Nest tonight if you're headed there. We'll take a little break. We'll be back in about 2 minutes' time on Your Morning Atlantic. All right, come on in. Halfway through the show already. We're at Friday, January 16th. So glad you can join us. We're hoping to check in with the folks at the Charlottetown Farmers Market. Terrible fire. Really did a number on their normal building.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Christmas Day fire, hard to believe. It's been 3 weeks since then.
Yeah.
They now have a temporary location. It just started last Saturday, so coming up in about 10 minutes, we're going to find out more details about how they're adjusting to the new temporary space and what the plans are for the old one.
They're down but not out. I know the Farmers Market is a really fun place to be, especially a lot of them in our region on Saturday mornings. That's a fun thing to do. Yeah, so I think as we look at weather tomorrow, how is it going to be for setting up at the market tomorrow around our region?
Oh, we do have another system making its way over. So we're still looking at a wintry mix holding on for much of the region, just kind of in this warp cycle of like storm after storm after storm.
While before we get to the warp cycle, we want to remind you about the Move Morning Chat, just in case. We want to set your comments in. It's always so fun to hear from you. What makes your neighborhood special? Why do you love it so much? Maybe it's because you've got a farmer's market nearby that you'll look forward to going to. Text us at 10400. We'll have a roundup at the end of the show.
All right, we're switching gears. I'm going to talk about the weather now for Fredericton. 3 degrees as you start off your day. We're still holding on to warmer temperatures for parts of Atlantic Canada, but we're going to start to see a cool off a little bit later on and still seeing mixed precipitation across the region. 4 degrees starting off your day in Halifax with 5 in Sydney, 3 in Charlottetown, much colder in Labrador City with minus 39 degrees this morning and minus 12 degrees rather in St. John's, Newfoundland. In terms of the wind chill, it's going to feel quite cold across Labrador today. Just keep that in mind. We do have a risk of frostbite. Here's a look at the rainfall warning in effect across much of Newfoundland until this evening. We do have a blowing snow advisory and a wind warning across the province with a winter storm warning as well. For Labrador, dealing with a wind warning and winter storm warning until early Saturday morning. Here's a look at that current system. Still seeing rain mixed with snow for parts of Atlantic Canada, periods of rain, at times heavy for parts of Newfoundland. And in terms of the wind, it's going to pick up into the afternoon. As of right now, 33 kilometers per hour in Edmonton, 22 in Yarmouth, and 19 in Lunenburg. Wind gusts of up to 54 kilometers per hour in Edmundston, 35 in Yarmouth, and 31 in Grand Manan. We'll take a look at your weekend forecast just ahead, but first a look at your local news with Amanda.
Thank you so much, Latavia. And we begin with prices at the pumps, which increased quite a bit overnight. Beginning with Nova Scotia, in Zone 1, gas increased by nearly 5 cents a litre. The minimum price now $1.32.4. Diesel increased by 5.7 cents. The minimum price now $1.60.1 a litre. In Prince Edward Island, gas increased by 4 cents a litre. The minimum price now $1.43.3. As for diesel, in Prince Edward Island, it increased by 6.4 cents. The minimum price now $1.72.3 a litre. And in New Brunswick, gas jumped by nearly 4 cents a litre. The maximum price now $1.36.7, and diesel increased by 4.4 cents. The maximum price now $1.72.4. A man was arrested yesterday after allegedly making threats that led to a lockdown at the Kings County Memorial Hospital in Montague. Charlottetown police say a man made a threat over the phone against a healthcare worker. The hospital and nearby clinics were locked down for a brief time, but soon reopened. Police say it appears to be an isolated incident with no threat to public safety. And there was another delay at the Jansen Baker double murder trial in New Brunswick. A bomb scare at the Moncton Law Courts delayed the trial for over 90 minutes, but proceedings got underway just after 11 a.m. Testimony came from RCMP officers who worked on the investigation. The 29-year-old Baker has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of Bernard and Rosemary Saunier, who were shot to death in their home in Dieppe in September of 2019. The trial will resume on Monday. In Cape Breton, the U18 Women's World Hockey Championship is well underway. Canada met Finland on the ice in the quarterfinal. The Canadian team scored early and often and went on to defeat Finland 12-0. The win puts Canada in the semifinals, where they'll face off against Czechia tomorrow night. Finally, 4 Nova Scotians are being honored with the province's highest recognition for bravery. As CTV's Hafsa Arif reports, these everyday heroes ran toward danger, not from it.
It's a celebration of courage, forged in fire, snow, and split-second decisions. The first, a man driven by instinct and love for his neighbor. Last year, Jared Hunt heard screams and saw smoke coming from right next door. He didn't wait, he ran inside.
This whole process, I've just been kind of overwhelmed with gratitude. I can't help but realize that I've been so blessed to have so many people in my path along my journey.
Hunt described the scene to CTV then. Inside, a father, Jermaine, and 3 children were trapped. He crawled through the flames and saved the man. But even now, much of what happened still follows him.
For a while, I couldn't close my eyes without seeing and hearing the sounds from that night.
Last winter, miles away, another life-saving mission began on a snow-covered trail. 3 friends learned 2 snowmobilers had vanished in a storm in the Cape Breton Highlands, and search crews weren't coming until daylight.
Well, when it happened, we didn't even think nothing of it. We were just going up to find somebody. Didn't think anything big out of it.
Through freezing wind and whiteout conditions, they rode toward the highlands, following memory, instinct, and hope. They found 1 friend alive, and the next day guided rescuers back to find the second.
Didn't occur to us that we saved 2 lives that night by speeding up the recovery by 12, 13 plus hours, or if not more.
For all 4 men, the medals feel secondary.
We just knew we had to go, so our time came, we went, and we were lucky with all the decisions that we made that night paid off.
My wife kept telling me that I had to tell Jermaine before I heard it from someone else. He hugged me and told me I deserved it. So, yeah. You know what I mean? He gave me his blessing.
They weren't chasing recognition, but each of the men hoped their stories spark more preparedness, more safety, and maybe more courage if the moment ever comes. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Halifax.
Wow, well-deserved. 4 very brave men.
Yeah, I love that, that when they give these awards out. Well deserved. All right, let's move on to something. This is one of those visuals it's better for them than us.
Okay.
A ski and snowboarding course is not for the faint of heart, and it's not in our region. 4 athletes have conquered the 350-long course in Italy's Julian Alps. Holy macaroni and cheese. It's built on a ridge just a few meters wide. And holy crowley. It also includes a 6-meter-long rail built between 2 boulders, bridging a 45-degree slope. So it's called the no-fall zone along edges, 110 meters high. Like this is look at that. Come on, people. The skiers say they aren't scared of heights, but they still say they never look down. Oh my gosh. Ooh, not for me.
Oh, very skilled.
Yeah, I mean, it does look like fun. Oh, it's a Red Bull thing, of course. That's why these people, yeah.
They have wings.
They do.
Whoa. What a drop.
Right?
Yeah, no thank you.
Whoa!
Literally flying through the air.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
great
incredible.
visuals, though. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Well, we'll tell you around here, even if you like skiing and snowboarding, we're not getting a lot of fresh powder. At least all of us aren't. It's hard to believe it's mid-January. Coming up, Latavia will have the forecast. We have sites like this around the region.
Wow.
Bare trees, damp ground, no snow. The forecast is next.
Welcome back. The time now is 7:43. Taking a live look at Wentworth. It is 4 degrees starting off your day. Expecting rain this morning that will transition over to flurries into the afternoon. That's exactly what we're expecting for much of Atlantic Canada today. A bit of a wintry mix. Starting off 3 degrees in Fredericton as well as into Charlottetown. 4 in Halifax early this morning. 5 degrees in Sydney. -18 in Happy Valley Goose Bay. 4 degrees in Gander. We do have a rainfall warning in effect for much of Newfoundland until this evening. Could see up to 80 millimeters of precipitation. A blowing snow advisory for tonight until early Saturday for western Newfoundland. Could see up to 10 centimeters within that blowing snow. And a wind warning, seeing wind gusts of up to 110 kilometers per hour this afternoon until tonight. A winter storm warning also in effect for parts of Newfoundland. Could see up to 20 centimeters of snowfall. Wind gusts of 90. And for Labrador, we're looking at a wind warning for Saturday afternoon until the evening. Could see 100 kilometers per hour for those wind gusts. And a winter storm warning seeing up to 30 centimeters of snow and 90 kilometers per hour for wind gusts. Here's a look at our forecast timeline. Still dealing with a bit of a wintry mix. Rain mixed with snow for the northern region of New Brunswick. For the most part, for the Maritimes, dealing with periods of rain early in the morning. Snow headed to parts of Labrador. And then, for the most part, rain at times heavy moves in across Newfoundland. Into the afternoon, we start to see a bit of a shift. So looking at flurry activity into the afternoon, a risk of freezing rain for parts of the Maritime region. Still holding on to precipitation, though, for parts of Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia. Rain at times heavy still remains for much of Newfoundland with a bit of a wintry mix there, and snow across parts of Labrador remains as well. Into this evening, we slowly start to see this low pressure system clear out, so flurries will start to clear out, but still holding on to parts of Cape Breton Island until early Saturday morning. If you're wondering about precipitation totals, we're looking at around 2 to 5 millimeters for Prince Edward Island, parts of Nova Scotia, the heaviest being into Cape Breton at around 10 to 20 millimeters. And then for Newfoundland, looking at 20 to 30 millimeters as the heaviest. And then for our snowfall outlook, seeing around 1 to 15 centimeters for parts of New Brunswick, 1 to 5 for Prince Edward Island. Heaviest for the Maritimes being into North Mountain at around 10 to 15 centimeters. 1 to 5 centimeters as well for parts of Labrador, and the heaviest for St. Anthony at 30 to 45 centimeters. For New Brunswick today, looking at flurries and showers across the province. Daytime highs will range from -9 to 4 degrees, wind gusts of 60 kilometers per hour. Prince Edward Island also seeing rain mixed with snow. We're looking at highs between 3 to 4 and wind gusts of 80. Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, highs between 4 to 6 degrees. Looking at rain and or snow for this part of the province, and looking at showers and or flurries for this part of the province for mainland Nova Scotia into the Tri-County area with highs between 3 to 6 degrees. Labrador City actually seeing some sunshine today, looking at a mix of sun and cloud. High of -23 though. 11 degrees into St. John's, Newfoundland. Rain transitions over to a wintry mix into the evening. Saturday's forecast, temperatures start to really cool down, and then seeing the factor in the wind chill early in the morning, feeling quite cold. We do have a chance of flurries returning for all 3 maritime provinces. A bit of a chance of showers and or flurries for parts of Nova Scotia. This system makes its way over to parts of Newfoundland, bringing a bit of a wintry mix as well, and still holding into Sunday's forecast before starting to slowly clear out. We have another system right behind you, Crystal.
Boy, thanks so much, Latavia. It's 7:46. Now, it has been 3 weeks since a Christmas Day fire heavily damaged the Charlottetown Farmers Market. Since then, the market's vendors have moved to a temporary location in the former Sporting Intentions space, but they're looking ahead to what the future holds. Joining us now is Travis Comiskey, the president of the Charlottetown Farmers Market Cooperative and the owner of Glen Lake Pasture Farm. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So first of all, tell us, how did you find out about the fire?
Well, we woke up Christmas morning to do presents. I have a young family, 3-year-old and an infant, and my phone rings, and it's our market manager telling me there's been a fire and to get here quickly. So anyway, my wife shuffled the kids into the room to kind of delay presents and occupied them while I went to uncover the mess at the market. And anyway, the fire started about 3 in the morning, so by the time I got there, it was out, and we were standing around talking to firefighters and observing things. So it was started, the primary damage is in my corner of the market, so that made it a little extra stressful that day. But
well, let's talk about, there's so much to unpack here. Let's begin with the damage itself. We have some photos of the interior of the market. It was heavily damaged. What's the state of things there?
So the worst pictures are around where my booth happened to be, but with and that's where the fire itself was. But the smoke damage is throughout the building, and like most of the equipment and counters and stuff aren't worth saving. And even the heat, it just showed the heat pump there. That heat pump's on the opposite side of the market, to give you an idea of how much heat there was inside the building.
So the building, from what I understand, you do plan to use the existing building. What's going to happen with this building?
Yes, so it's being entirely gutted. First thing was to get all the vendor stuff out of the building, salvage what could be salvaged, and then after that it was it's going to be gutted, and it's going to be redone from the studs out, basically, and any of the systems like electrical, plumbing, all of that has to be redone as well. So it's quite an extensive project, even if we are saving the building.
What about insurance? Will that cover these costs?
Well, insurance will cover that. There's been a few, the insurance is paying for the repair of the building, as well as putting us up in the meantime in our temporary location. And there is also some help for the operations of the market itself. The vendors, on the other hand, have not been as lucky. Most of them, for their contents, are not insured. So even trying to get that stuff out of there has been a challenge.
It sounds like a very challenging time, but wow, you're so resilient. You've already got the temporary location up and running. Where is it, and how are things working out there so far?
So it's at 614 North River Road, which is the former Sporting Intentions building. They call the building Creekside Crossing. So we had our first market there last Saturday, and some of the vendors that are easier to accommodate have been set up. And then there's others that either they need more time, or we need more to build out more facilities there for them to be able to operate. So this wasn't a food service space in the past, so we're adding sinks, electrical, and even a hood vent to accommodate our food vendors.
Well, before we go, that's pretty much our time, Travis, but really quickly, any thoughts on the investigation? Like, do they know what started the fire?
It's inconclusive at this point. They know it started outside of the building, but that's...
Well, we appreciate your time today. Good luck to you. Congratulations on being able to move ahead so far, and we look forward to the new building when it comes.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much. We're going to turn our attention over to Amanda with Health and Medical News now.
Thanks, you too. New research shows Ontario's female family doctors spend more time with their patients, but are paying a price for it. It's one of the topics in Your Health.
Researchers found female family doctors spend about 4 minutes longer per patient than male doctors for the most common type of examination. The research published in the Canadian Family Physician Journal also says many of the women earn less money as a result. The head of Ontario Medical Association says the current fee-for-service system rewards volume and leads to less time spent with patients. Researchers found female family doctors spend 15 to 20% more time with patients, leading to an estimated $45,000 difference in annual income. On the West Coast, British Columbia is ending its 3-year drug decriminalization pilot, saying it did not deliver the results the province hoped for. The province's health minister says the program was meant to help people seek care, but became too difficult to sustain amid public concern. Critics blame the policy for increased public drug use, while advocates say overdoses can't be tied to any single factor. The program officially ends January 31st as the province shifts focus to treatment and recovery. Finally, have you ever wanted to go off the grid for a few days? Well, there's a new app that might think you're dead if you do. It's called Are You Dead? And it's for people who live alone. It's gone viral in China with surging downloads, prompting the company to introduce a subscription fee. The company behind it says it's designed to be a safety tool created for people who live alone. The app requires you to set up one emergency contact and sends automatic notifications if the user hasn't checked in on the app for consecutive days.
Now we'd like to introduce you to the Maritimers who are marking milestones today. It's a 67th anniversary for Elliot and Yvonne Conrad of Brooklyn, Nova Scotia.
Oh my gosh, great photo. Thank you so much, and congrats to you too. And now to the Maritimers who are marking milestones tomorrow. It's a 50th anniversary for Joanne and John Fawcett of Lower Coverdale, New Brunswick. Congrats, you two.
Happy anniversary. It is also a 67th anniversary for Arlene and Frank Poirier of McAdam, New Brunswick.
Oh my gosh, congratulations, you two. 67 years. What an accomplishment.
Absolutely. Happy anniversary. And to see your milestone again or find out how to submit one, visit our website by scanning the QR code on your screen. And a reminder, milestones must be received 2 weeks in advance. All right. The mullet made a huge comeback this week at the Pennsylvania Farm Show. Turns out young mullet enthusiasts took the spotlight this year.
Yep, ABC's Danny New takes us to the event celebrating the hair that, well, let's mull it over, shall we?
So what you got, Rock?
At the 110th Pennsylvania Farm Show this week,
USA! USA!
more than 1,000 turned out to take in its annual mullet contest.
I think Pennsylvania is one of the best states that has mullets in their competition.
Teenager Alex Booz here won the ages 13 to 18 category.
And that leaves first place my man right here, Alex.
For a passion that came to him mysteriously.
I couldn't tell you exactly why, but I just decided one day I wanted mullet, and since then I've been growing it out to where it is now.
The contestants were evaluated for their cut, presentation, and commitment, with 5 different age categories, including 5 and under.
Drew, foot shoot, first place.
Meanwhile, the ages 6 through 12 winner sealed the top prize with an homage.
Knows not to mess with Sir Joseph Dirt.
As he honored the 2001 comedy starring David Spade, Joe Dirt.
We'll do crowd's choice.
In fact, there was also a special award in honor of America's 250th birthday for the most patriotic participant. I'm assuming they all tied.
Let's win this thing!
And of course, there are mullet contests all across the land.
I'm never gonna get rid of my mullet.
A few years ago, I introduced you to Brody from Boston as he competed in the USA Mullet Championships.
USA! USA!
However, if you ask this week's Teenaged Mullet Champ about why the Keystone State's mullet is so special,
I think Pennsylvania just goes big or goes home.
Now, if you've been working on your mullet game for years, like some of us, the USA Mullet Championships usually closes registration around July, so you've got time to grow it even longer if you dare. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
Oh my gosh!
Danny New takes it to a whole other level. I love his
Oh my God, so good. I feel like I could rock the mullet. I don't know, you know?
Yeah, I could
I
too.
need to do that.
Yeah.
Not as well as Danny. That actually is,
Apparently
it was
not,
gonna
right?
harm. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
you should wear that more often.
Oh my gosh, if you have a mullet, you need to send us a picture either by email
Yes,
or text us
please.
at 10400. We will celebrate you. Oh my gosh. Weather-wise, you know, what are we looking at today?
It's a little bit of a mixture yet again.
Well, the weekends, you know what, another surprise. More sisters rolling through.
Yes, you know what, last weekend we saw a sunny day when they said rain on Saturday, so maybe we'll get lucky again, right?
I don't know. -2?
Yeah, maybe not in New Brunswick. Currently today, we're looking at a daytime high of -2 degrees. We do have a chance of showers and or flurries across the province. Saturday, a high of -3, snow and or rain. And then on Sunday, -2 degrees, cloudy skies with evening snow. For Nova Scotia, also seeing a wintry mix today, a high of 5 degrees, 3 degrees onto Saturday. A bit of sunshine with some scattered flurries and then transitions over to steadier snow and rain. And then on Sunday, 3 degrees is your daytime high. Flurries and or showers expected to transition yet again to snow and or rain. Prince Edward Island looking at a wintry mix as well today with a high of 3, -3 degrees on Saturday. A bit of sunshine, but isolated flurries remain. On Sunday, a high of 1, scattered flurries, evening snow.
Friday, January 16th, today on Your Morning Atlantic. Surveillance video capturing a suspect tossing a grenade into a Cape Breton business has been released. We'll show you the video and have also your top news headlines, including an increase in gas and diesel prices. That's coming up.
And a warm winter salad. Best-selling cookbook author and one of our favorite guests, Greta Podleski, will join us to share a grain salad recipe that's perfect for this time of year. That's coming up a little later this half hour of Your Morning Atlantic.
Good morning. If you are just tuning in, thank you so much for making us a part of your morning. And if you've been watching us for the past 2 hours, we're so happy to have you along for the ride because we are filling this show with so much different content from around the region, including having Greta back on to talk about fresh salads. Great time of year to do this too, because typically you think summer salads, but a lot of people do want to eat fresher food around this time of year, have some resolutions. This could be something to add to your rotation.
Oh, yeah. And if you're someone like me who eats the same kind of salad over and over and over again, you get kind of bored, and then you kind of put the salad off to the side because you're like, oh, I've had it so many times this week. Yeah, it's a great way to refresh.
For sure.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get into that. Weather-wise, you do need to be prepared because we have yet another system coming through.
Yes, exactly. Currently still dealing with the system that moved in yesterday. We do have another system that will make its way over into the weekend, but still seeing mixed precipitation for much of the region, so a lot that extra time out on your morning commute. Here's a live look at Clark's Harbor. Doesn't seem to be raining over there as of right now. We are still seeing periods of rain for the most part for much of the maritime region, extending into Newfoundland, rain at times heavy. But we are also dealing with some warmer temperatures still remaining. 3 degrees right now in Fredericton and in Charlottetown. Early this morning, it is 4 in Halifax and Sydney. 11 degrees into St. John's, Newfoundland. A rainfall warning currently in effect until this evening. Could see around 20 to 80 millimeters of that precipitation. A blowing snow advisory with a wind warning. And we do have a winter storm warning as well. Winter storm warning also for parts of Labrador and a wind warning. So here's a look at that current system. We're still dealing with rain mixed with snow, and this precipitation at times heavy for parts of the region. We'll start to see it transition over to a chance of flurries for much of Atlantic Canada into the late afternoon. Here's a look at the current wind, slowly picking up this morning, 33 kilometers per hour right now in Edmundston, 24 into St. John, New Brunswick, 22 in Yarmouth. Wind gusts of up to 52 kilometers per hour in Edmundston, 37 in St. John, 35 in Yarmouth, 31 in Grand Manan. We'll take a look at your weekend forecast just ahead, but first a look at your local news with Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. Prices at the pumps increased significantly overnight. In Nova Scotia Zone 1, the Halifax area, gas increased by nearly 5 cents a litre. The minimum price now $1.32.4. Diesel increased by 5.7 cents. The minimum price now $1.60.1 a litre. In Prince Edward Island, gas increased by 4 cents a litre. The minimum price now $1.43.3. And diesel increased by 6.4 cents a litre. The minimum price now $1.72.3. And in New Brunswick, gas jumped by nearly 4 cents a litre. The maximum price now $1.36.7, and diesel increased by 4.4 cents. The maximum price now $1.72.4. Some newly released court documents suggest potential problems in the relationship of the couple caring for the missing Sullivan children. In newly unsealed court documents, the mother of the 2 children alleges her common-law partner was sometimes physically abusive during their 3-year relationship. The excerpts from police interviews with unproven allegations from Malaya Brooks Murray suggest stepfather Daniel Martel would try to block her, hold her down, and push her once. None of the allegations have been tested in court, and Martel is not facing any charges. He also denied the allegations to reporters, saying it is part of an ongoing narrative to make him, quote, look evil. 5-year-old Jack and his 6-year-old sister Lily were reported missing from their home in Lansdowne Station on May 2nd. Multiple exhaustive searches have turned up no sign of either. Newly released surveillance video appears to show the moment a live grenade was tossed into a Cape Breton business. Last week, a large area in downtown Sydney was evacuated and an emergency alert was issued after this incident at a car repair center on Pitt Street. The first video appears to show someone firing a slingshot at their front door, then trying to bust open the window with their elbow. They leave, and a few minutes later, the person returns and breaks a hole in the window with what appears to be a hammer before tossing something inside, then running away. A third video then shows what that looked like from inside the business. Police were called to the scene at 7:30 in the morning. The grenade was detonated by a military explosives team later in the day. No arrests have been made in the case and no one was hurt. Police say the investigation is ongoing. With nearly 500 seniors in New Brunswick hospitals waiting for nursing home beds, there are calls for the province to think outside the box for a solution. And as CTV's Laura Brown tells us, advocates argue the situation is critical.
Cecile Casista is fed up.
I'm not hanging around to watch our seniors lie in these kinds of conditions. I want change, and I want it now.
The longtime seniors advocate feels people are blaming seniors for what's happening in hospitals across the province. As of December 31st, 450 seniors were waiting in hospital for a long-term care placement, according to Casista. She says the time for reports and studies is over. She's demanding a plan.
We need to deal with the assessments. We need to have a separate department for our seniors. Why do seniors have to continue fighting for justice? And that's exactly what's happening out there.
Last week, it was revealed a senior spent 3 days in an ambulance bay turned medical unit at Fredericton's Chalmers Hospital, where there's no running water or proper washrooms, little privacy, and the lights are on 24/7. The unit was created because over a third of the hospital's actual beds are being used by patients waiting for long-term care.
NB Housing builds public housing for people on low income. The Premier should give the mandate to NB Housing to build rapidly long-term care homes for people who desperately need them, to free up beds in our hospitals and to get those people out of the hospitals who are stuck there and declining.
For Green Party leader David Kuhn, it's a stopgap measure, but the solution is for the province to build more long-term care facilities quicker.
We're in the era of supposedly building infrastructure, build Canada, so we need to get going.
The Premier has promised a long-term care plan is coming early this year. According to Horizon Health's data, last week, just one patient waiting in hospital for long-term care was discharged. Laura Brown, CTV News, Fredericton.
Thank you, Laura. Finally, if winter has got you down, well, this might cheer you up. You just have to embrace the season. That is, if you have the snow, like this polar bear. The team over at the Cochrane, Ontario Polar Bear Habitat, they capture this magical moment of Henry playing in the snow with a fall favorite, a gourd. And under the caption, they say pumpkins can be food and fun. He's so roly-poly, so sweet.
Yeah, he loves that snow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Don't blame him.
Look at that.
It's like hugging it.
It's so cute.
Yeah. We love animals on the show.
You know what? This is for you. We're going to end our week right now with a little panda video. These 2 pandas at a zoo in Vienna were pleased to get outside and enjoy some snow, rolling, climbing, even eating the snow. Zookeepers say this. Yeah, I know. This kind of weather resembles the climate they would be used to in northern China. Ooh. So they got a little bit of snow this week. Wacky weather. Oh, there's the bamboo rolling around. Look, the roly-poly indeed. You use that phrase for, oh my gosh, hi, buddy.
Oh, so
beautiful.
Sweet. Boop that nose.
Extreme panda close-up. We don't get that all the time.
No, we don't. Beautiful. Fun. Looks like they're having a good time.
Yeah. And now we're going to show you a video of a polar bear and a panda duking it out. No, I'm joking.
That'd be cool.
Over a pumpkin.
Yeah.
Over a pumpkin. That'd be perfect. Well, still ahead this half hour, we're going to have author Greta Podletsky, who's going to share a tasty salad recipe that will warm you up. But first, it is a look at the Friday forecast. With Latavia, we got another messy weather system coming in on the way. Taking a look at Cook Island this morning. In fact, the weather impacting schools in that part of the region later in the afternoon. The forecast is coming up next.
Happy Friday, Atlantic Canada. The time now is 8:13. Well, I'm clearly not here right now. Okay, it's 8:13 a.m. We're taking a live look at South Maitland. We are starting off the day at 4 degrees and currently not seeing any mixed precipitation in your area. Weather is brought to you by the Atlantic Lottery mobile app, still holding on to some warm temperatures for parts of Atlantic Canada. As of right now, 3 degrees as you head outdoors in Fredericton as well as into Charlottetown. 4 currently in Halifax and Sydney. Much colder over in Labrador City at -37 degrees. 13 into St. John's, Newfoundland. We do have a rainfall warning in effect for much of the province until this evening. Could see up to 80 millimeters of accumulation. A blowing snow advisory as well for western Newfoundland tonight until early Saturday. Could see up to 10 centimeters within that blowing snow. Wind gusts of 70 kilometers per hour. A wind warning for much of the province this afternoon until tonight. Could see wind gusts of up to 110 kilometers per hour, with a winter storm warning also in effect. For Labrador, looking at a wind warning for Saturday afternoon into the evening, wind gusts of 100 kilometers per hour, and a winter storm warning as well. Here's a look at the current system tracking across Atlantic Canada. Still seeing rain mixed with snow for northern New Brunswick. Other than that, we will still see a bit of a wintry mix for parts of the Maritime region, specifically into the Tri-County area of Nova Scotia, looking at a risk of freezing rain. For parts of Labrador, dealing with snow, and then mixed precipitation starts to move in for parts of Newfoundland. But for the most part, seeing rain at times heavy. Into this afternoon, we start to see this shift. So snow transitions over to that risk of freezing rain for parts of the Maritime region, and then we're going to see a chance of flurries return into the evening hours, taking us into early Saturday morning. We'll start to see that flurry activity clear out for parts of the Maritime region, still holding on to parts of Cape Breton Island, Newfoundland, Labrador, also going to see some light snowfall. If you're wondering about precipitation totals, at around 2 to 5 millimeters of additional precipitation across Prince Edward Island. Parts of Nova Scotia also seeing around 2 to 5, but for the most part for Cape Breton Island, at its heaviest, 10 to 20 millimeters expected. And then for Newfoundland, we're looking at around 20 to 30 millimeters of precipitation. For our snowfall outlook, seeing around 5 to 15 centimeters of accumulation, 1 to 5 for parts of Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia, the heaviest being into North Mountain, 10 to 15 centimeters expected, and only around 1 to 5 centimeters for parts of Labrador, heaviest being for Newfoundland into St. Anthony at 30 to 45 centimeters. Over to our forecast today for New Brunswick. Flurries and or showers across the province today. Highs between -9 to 4 degrees. We're looking at wind out of the west, 40 gusting to 60 rather. Prince Edward Island looking at a high of 4 degrees today. We do have rain mixed with snow throughout your day. Wind gusts of 80 kilometers per hour. And then for Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, looking highs between 4 to 6 degrees. Rain and or snow expected. For the rest of Nova Scotia, highs between 3 to 6 degrees as well. Showers and or flurries will continue throughout the day. -23 degrees for Labrador City has your daytime high, sunshine over there, and 11 degrees for St. John's, Newfoundland, looking at rain, transitioning over to a wintry mix into the evening. That's a look at your weather. We'll throw things over to Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. It's Prime Minister Mark Carney's last full day of meetings in Beijing. So far, the Canadian delegation has received a warm reception from Chinese officials. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has more.
A grand ceremony full of pageantry in China's House of Political Power, marking the restart of a Canada-China relationship that has been largely non-existent for years.
I believe the progress that we have made in the partnership sets us up well for the new world order. It's a partnership with new focus and greater depth and a sense of purpose.
Prime Minister Mark Carney receiving a warm welcome from various Chinese leaders Thursday, who said bilateral relations have hit a turning point.
China is prepared to work with Canada to follow through on the important consensus between our leaders and move forward our strategic partnership on a trajectory of healthy, steady, and sustainable development.
Agreements signed today pledge greater dialogue in areas including forestry, tourism, culture, and food safety. On energy, the pact recognizes Canada as an important potential partner in oil and gas.
What we heard loud and clear is China is looking for reliable trading partners that don't use energy for coercion.
The Prime Minister's last full day in Beijing is arguably the most important, and Canadians are likely to find out whether Canada was successful at removing or dropping the punishing Chinese tariffs on many Canadian agriculture products.
CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver reporting in Beijing. Ottawa is confirming that a Canadian has been killed by authorities in Iran. The unidentified victim, one of thousands of people now believed to have been killed in the protests sweeping across that country. CTV's Mike Lecouture has more.
As anti-government protests blanketed Iran in recent weeks, we're learning a Canadian has died in the hands of Iranian authorities. In a post on social media, the Foreign Affairs Minister said, "Our consular officials are in contact with the victim's family in Canada, and my deepest condolences are with them at this time." While supporting the peaceful protests, Anita Anand said Canada condemns and calls for an immediate end to the Iranian regime's violence. According to some estimates, at least 2,500 people have been killed since the Iranian regime began cracking down on protesters. The White House says 800 executions were scheduled for today, but President Trump has been given assurances they will not happen.
The president and his team have communicated to the Iranian regime that if the killing continues, there will be grave consequences.
Perhaps a glimpse of some of those consequences, the U.S. Treasury Secretary announced sanctions against key members of the Iranian government.
Iran's leaders have brutally responded to peaceful demonstrations with violence, from mass shootings in the street to attacks on wounded victims in hospitals.
In an apparent appeal to the Trump administration, a video message from the exiled Crown Prince of Iran laid out his aspirations for the country if the current regime is toppled.
A free Iran will work with regional and global partners to confront terrorism, organized crime, drug trafficking, and extremist Islamism.
Now, that can only happen if the Islamic Republic is ousted. Meanwhile, with the recent crackdown on protesters, Canadians are being urged by Global Affairs Canada to leave Iran now. Mike Lecouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
That is a look at your international news headlines. A quick break here. When we return, Crystal will have a conversation with author Greta Podleski about winter salads. That and the recipe coming up.
Welcome back. It's 8:23. Now, whoever said salads are summer food never read our next guest's best-selling cookbook. Greta Podleski's Every Salad Ever was an instant hit when it was released last year, and we bet more than a few of you received it under your Christmas tree. Greta is joining us once again to prove that salads don't have a season. There's the book, #1 best-selling cookbook in Canada, #1 best-selling nonfiction book in Canada last year. That's incredible. Congratulations, Greta.
Thank you. When I saw the list with my name at the top, especially for nonfiction, ahead of Mark Carney, The Wealthy Barber, Margaret Atwood, I was kind of freaking out, called about everybody I know.
Well, that's great. Well, I know you put your heart and soul into this book, taking a lot of the photography yourself, and this book has like interactive elements. It's awesome. We're big fans here, so we thought let's get Greta on to chat about winter salad. So what the heck is the difference between a winter salad and a summer salad?
I always say salads really aren't seasonal. It's the ingredients that are. So in the winter, we just turn from lettucey, tomatoey, cucumber salads into things that are heartier, warmer, warm grains, maybe even like a bean salad, salads with substance. So the salad that I want to make today is one of my personal favorites in the book. as far as warm salads go. It's a warm winter grain salad. So you can use any type of grain you want. You need 4 cups cooked. Right now I'm using quinoa. You could use brown rice. You could use farro, which is a little bit like brown rice, except maybe a little bit plumper and chewier. I really like that. I have 4 cups of it here. And then this salad, as you saw in that photo, uses roasted butternut squash. So I just did some squash cubes about 1/2 inch in size. My oven was at 425. I tossed them in olive oil and salt and pepper. And then I roasted them for maybe 15 to 20 minutes, just kept my eye on them so they didn't burn. And a great substitute here would be sweet potatoes, because sweet potatoes are maybe a little bit easier to deal with than peeling a butternut squash, but it depends on what you like. I love the salad because it's so simple. So we've got the quinoa, we have the roasted squash, those are warm. Now I'm adding some chopped green onions, some crumbled feta cheese, and then what I call the jewelry of salad, some pomegranate. And just to match my sweater, you know.
Oh, I know.
But if you didn't have pomegranate or couldn't find it, you would use sweetened dried cranberries. Depends on the season, right? Right now, pomegranate is around. Sometimes it isn't. And then fresh herbs. I have chopped fresh parsley and mint. What I love about this salad, I'm going to try to hold it right up to you, is just how beautiful and colorful it is with all of the textures. So I'm just going to give that a stir, and then we'll make some dressing.
And with the quinoa and the squash, you're really like hitting those healthy elements too. I'm trying to eat more protein these days and eat more fiber. Like this looks like a perfect thing. For me, I'll tell you, it's when I make a quinoa salad, it just sucks up the dressing like crazy, and you use a lot of dressing. So how do you get around that? Like what kind of dressing's on this?
Okay, it's a white balsamic vinaigrette. And when I cook quinoa for salad, I usually cook it in a little bit of vegetable broth instead of just in water, because it gives it just that little extra boost of flavor, and then cool it so that it's not hot. So this is just warm. And then I have olive oil, white balsamic vinegar, lemon juice, a little bit of Dijon, salt, pepper, and then another fun ingredient, which totally goes with squash. This is a little bit of grated orange zest. I just had a small orange that I grated with my zester and put that in. And so that gets drizzled on it. And then remember, this is a warm salad. So you're serving it now. Wow. But you could chill it. It's just that if I was going to serve it and make it ahead, I would bring it to room temperature before I served it. This salad just tastes better when it's room temperature or warm. But that's it. And it's the kind of salad you bring in the winter when you're going to someone's house and they say, just bring a salad. Because it's unique, it's delicious, everyone loves it.
It looks delicious. I had an event last week. If only I'd known, I would have made this. Also, I love the little surprises, the pomegranate, the orange, adding that brightness to the warm salad, and it's gorgeous to look at. Sheesh,
It is really pretty. I think this one was made a lot over the holidays at people's Christmas table as well, because all of the colors and textures kind of go with the holidays as well. But for winter, you know, you can pack this up. It's good for meal prep. There's nothing in it that's going to spoil, and people are looking for sort of those meals now that they can make and pack up. And then if I was serving this for dinner, since I have my oven on anyway, I probably put a couple salmon pieces in there and serve this with some nice roasted salmon, and you'd have a delicious winter meal. So,
you sure would.
Judging by your forecast, I think we are way colder and way snowier in Ontario. So I can't wait to have this, yes, even for breakfast.
Yeah, oh, wow, it looks amazing, and you pulled it together so quickly. So where do we get your book?
Every Salad Ever is exclusive to Indigo, which means it's at Indigo chapters and Kohl stores or on their website at indigo.ca.
Well, Greta, thank you so much for taking the time to make this wonderful salad with us this morning. We have the recipe on our website, by the way, or find it in Greta's book. Have a great day, Greta.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And it is now 8:28. We're going to take a quick break and be back with more of our show right after this.
Still ahead this morning, local organic skincare. We'll chat with the founder of a company that wants you to help you pamper your skin with natural ingredients. That's coming up here in 15 minutes on Your Morning Atlantic.
Welcome back. The time now is 8:31, half hour left of the show, last day of the week.
Life's good.
Yeah. Life is good.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to chatting with the local woman about this organic skincare line. Apparently can work on problems like hyperpigmentation, collagen loss, and even like acne and things like that. So
yes, so I came across this company because I have really bad eczema.
Okay.
Right, and I was looking for like some natural products to help with that. And one of my boys at least seems to be getting eczema as well. And it honestly helped me.
Amazing.
Obviously didn't clear it, but it really helped soothe it and like kind of give more, what's it called, like time in between flare-ups.
Yeah.
Oh,
nice. Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, I can't wait to hear how this all works because, gosh, our ears are open to wonderful local products that make a difference in people's lives.
Absolutely.
So many wonderful entrepreneurs around here. Now, if you have dry skin, I don't know if you're going to have to worry about that today because of the wet weather that we've been experiencing and the mild conditions. So, as you mentioned, it is going to get colder.
Oh, yeah. Things are dropping down later tonight. But today, starting off early this morning, still seeing mild temperatures for Atlantic Canada. Here's a live look at Burnt Coat Head. It is a foggy, wet start to your day. Something to keep in mind when you are heading out on your commute. We're still seeing some mixed precipitation track across much of the region today. As of right now, it is 4 degrees in Halifax and Sydney, 3 degrees starting off your day in Charlottetown and in Fredericton. Much colder over in Labrador City with minus 37 degrees and warmer into St. John's with 12 degrees. A rainfall warning currently in effect for much of Newfoundland for today. A blowing snow advisory and a wind warning with a winter storm warning also in effect. For parts of Labrador, dealing with a wind warning and winter storm warning. So we do still have rain mixed with snow for parts of Atlantic Canada. Rain at times heavy for others. We are going to see a lot of this mixed precipitation transition over to flurries or light snowfall into the late afternoon and evening. In terms of the wind, now starting to pick up for the Maritime region, will continue to pick up into the afternoon. But as of right now, 37 kilometers per hour into Yarmouth, 33 in Edmundston, 20 in Greenwood and St. John, New Brunswick. Wind gusts of up to 52 kilometers per hour in Yarmouth and 50 in Edmundston, 35 in St. John. We'll take another look at your long-range forecast just ahead, but one last look at your local news with Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. And we begin with a story that is weather-related. Maritimers will want to check their flights before heading to the airport because a major winter storm in Ontario and Quebec is causing plenty of delays and cancellations for multiple airlines. For more on this, we bring in CTV Scott Hurst, who is live inside Pearson International Airport. Good morning, Scott. Many Maritimers, they take flights in and out of Pearson. How are travelers being impacted at the country's busiest airport?
Good morning, Amanda. The first major snowstorm of the year for the Greater Toronto Area sure caused a lot of problems yesterday. As you mentioned, not just here at Toronto Pearson, but of course the delay here because of the massive winter storm we had yesterday could then have significant ripple effect delays at Atlantic airports as well. So good advice for everyone to check the status of their flight today. I did pop inside to Pearson a few moments ago and saw the departures board here and saw that there were already some delays and cancellations throughout the morning, so the impact does continue. But of course the conditions are much better today. It is really cold, but it hasn't snowed much overnight, so that has allowed the crews to get out onto the runways and really get that massive snow clearing operation underway and under control from this massive storm yesterday, where Toronto Pearson itself got more than 20 centimeters, and other parts throughout the Greater Toronto Area and Southern Ontario got much more. So it was a massive storm that caused significant impact and could continue today to cause a ripple effect across the network, not just here in Toronto, as I mentioned, but for Atlantic travelers as well, Amanda.
What a difference in conditions considering how much rain we're having here on the East Coast. Scott, some areas in Ontario and Quebec received up to 35 centimeters of snow since early Thursday. Can you walk us through some of the impact of snow clearing operations there?
At the height of it yesterday, Amanda, the snow was insane at some points. Just looking out the window, even this morning, I can tell you from experience, getting here, you had to dig out your car. And Maritimers, of course, are well aware of winter storms, but it was a massive impact, not just here at the airport, but on the roads as well. And just getting to the airport, of course, the advice for travelers is always give yourself lots of extra time to deal with the potential delays that could happen at the airport. But even just getting to the airport today, many of the roads. Many of the main arteries are plowed, but of course there are massive snow banks and snow piles that can reduce the size of lanes, of course, as well. And so just getting to the airport took quite a lot more time. And yesterday there were hundreds of crashes on the roads as well. So there is a lot of, that needs to be done to make the roads safer and, of course, get people to where they need to go today. So a massive impact yesterday. Hopefully today is a catch-up day for here at the airport and for the cleanup crews, the road crews right around Southern Ontario and into Quebec as well.
Wow, well, so many Maritimers have friends and family in Ontario and Quebec, so it certainly is something to see all that snow. So thank you so much for the update, Scott, and safe travels on the road to you.
Thank you.
CTV Scott Hurst reporting live at the Pearson Airport in Mississauga. Now to the roads and prices at the pumps around here. Quite a big jump overnight in terms of prices. In Nova Scotia, Zone 1, gas increased by nearly 5 cents a litre. The minimum price now $1.32.4. Diesel increased by 5.7 cents. The minimum price now $1.60.1 a litre. In Prince Edward Island, gas increased by 4 cents. The minimum price now $1.43.3. Diesel increased on the island by 6.4 cents. The minimum price now $1.72.3. And in New Brunswick, gas jumped by nearly 4 cents a litre. The maximum price now $1.36.7. And diesel increased by 4.4 cents. The maximum price now $1.72.4. Finally, we go to the U18 Women's World Hockey Championship taking place in Sydney. And member 2. Some good news for the home team. Canada met Finland on the ice in the quarterfinal, and the Canadian team scored early and often and went on to defeat Finland 12-0. That win puts Canada in the semifinals, where they will face off against Czechia, and that game is happening tomorrow night.
Wow.
Woo! What a time to be in Cape Breton to see this level of hockey.
I'd like to see it myself. I'll be at a track meet tomorrow.
You're going to a track meet?
Yeah, will not be here, but if you're lucky enough to get tickets, check it out.
That'd be so cool.
All right, this chat is, I want you to lead this, Amanda, because you're the expert on Special Olympics around here.
Oh, gosh. Well, if you want to be inspired, okay, listen up. There's a really wonderful event happening in Halifax next month, and we want you to be a part of it. The 32nd Annual Inspired Gala and Auction in support of Special Olympics Nova Scotia. It's taking place Wednesday, February 18th. I was the MC last year. I had such a wonderful time. I'm going to return as MC this year. Woo. So the event celebrates athletes, coaches, and volunteers, everyone who makes such an impact in the lives of athletes and their families. Now, if you're interested in buying a table, but you're thinking, oh my gosh, how do I fill a table though? Don't worry, because this is super wonderful. You can purchase a table where 2 Special Olympic athletes will sit with you. There's Anna offering a special message last year too. She was with them for, gosh, over 10 years. Yeah. So anyways, this gives you the chance to sit down with the athletes, chat with them, learn from them about the sports they love and their goals for the future. So for more information, you can go to specialolympicsns.ca, but that's going to be here next month. I can tell you it is an inspiring evening, and I'm so happy to return as MC for the 2nd year in a row. But yeah, if you're thinking like you own a business, you can buy a table, and if you want to fill it, like you can provide seats for the athletes to go there.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful.
I've attended, I think, 3 years ago, and I had a great time. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. At the Halifax Convention Center, beautiful venue, great food, great event. So yeah, there's still some tickets available.
Well, your dollar that you're supporting, charity dollar, will go very far in making a difference in people's lives by supporting Special Olympics. Awesome. Okay, what else is going on, Latavia?
All right, we'll take a look at our community calendar. So you can beat the winter blues with belly laughs at the Hubcap Comedy Festival in Moncton. From now until January 31st, over 40 shows will be taking place across venues in the city. For a full list of performances, you can head over to the website on your screen. And the annual Winter Dine Festival returns in Charlottetown. Lunch and dinner menus will be featured for more than 20 Charlottetown finest restaurants. From today until February 8th, you can check the different restaurants and the ultimate dining experience. And a new exhibit is opening at the Prow Gallery in Halifax. Nova Scotian artist Jeremy Vaughan will present Ocean Island River Forest, a memorable collection celebrating beautiful and diverse landscapes of Nova Scotia. The artist reception takes place Thursday, January 22nd, and the exhibit runs until February 13th, so you have lots of time. And if you do have an event, please send us the details. We'd love to promote it. Your Morning Atlantic at ctv.ca. Time now is 8:41. Make sure to stick with us. Your Morning Atlantic. We'll be right back right after this. Happy Friday, Atlantic Canada. The time now is 8:44. 2 degrees starting off your day over in Digby. A very cloudy start to the day as well. We are expecting flurries in your area throughout the day before tapering off and then returning. We are seeing a mild start to the day for parts of Atlantic Canada. Temperatures are going to start to cool down. But as of right now, we are seeing 3 degrees as you head outdoors in Charlottetown, 4 in Halifax and Sydney, 2 degrees starting off your day in Fredericton, minus 18 over in Happy Valley Goose Bay, 4 degrees in Gander. We do have a rainfall warning in effect for much of Newfoundland until this evening, seeing precipitation getting up to 80 millimeters. We do have a blowing snow advisory as well. Could see up to 10 centimeters within that blowing snow tonight until early Saturday. And a wind warning for much of the province. Could see wind gusts of up to 110 kilometers per hour. Also see a winter storm warning in effect for today until early Saturday. Could see up to 20 centimeters of accumulation in terms of snowfall, and a wind gust of 90 kilometers per hour. For Labrador, dealing with a wind warning as well for Saturday afternoon into the evening. We are looking at around 100 kilometers per hour for those wind gusts, and winter storm warning could see up to 30 centimeters of accumulation and 90 kilometers per hour in terms of the wind gusts. Over to our forecast timeline, still seeing a wintry mix across parts of Atlantic Canada today. We are going to see rain mixed with snow for the parts of central and northern New Brunswick. Also going to see a bit of a wintry mix for the remainder of the province. For Prince Edward Island, looking at rain mixed with snow today, and also starting to see this precipitation for Nova Scotia transition over to a risk of some freezing rain. For Labrador, looking at periods of snow. For Newfoundland, also seeing a bit of a wintry mix. And then into this afternoon, a lot of that precipitation will transfer over to flurry activity for much of the Maritime region. Still dealing with snow and or rain for Newfoundland and light snowfall for parts of Labrador. Taking us into early Saturday morning, still holding on to flurry activity for Cape Breton Island, Newfoundland and Labrador, seeing snow. If you're wondering about accumulation totals, looking at around 2 to 5 millimeters across Prince Edward Island, parts of Nova Scotia. The heaviest into Cape Breton Island at around 10 to 20 millimeters of accumulation. And then for Newfoundland, looking at around 2 to 30. For our snowfall outlook, seeing around 5 to 15 centimeters for parts of New Brunswick, 1 to 5 for parts of Prince Edward Island, 1 to 5 centimeters as well for mainland Nova Scotia, and the heaviest being into North Mountain at around 10 to 15 centimeters. 1 to 5 centimeters of accumulation for snowfall as well for parts of Labrador, heaviest being into Newfoundland, St. Anthony looking at 30 to 45 centimeters. For our forecast today for New Brunswick, daytime highs will range from -9 to 4 degrees. We do have flurries and showers across the province today with wind gusts of 60. For Prince Edward Island, a high of 4 degrees today, rain mixed with snow, wind gusts picking up to 80 kilometers per hour this afternoon. And then for Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, rain and or snow as well. Daytime highs between 4 to 6 degrees and wind gusts of 80. For the rest of Nova Scotia, showers and flurries throughout your day today, highs between 3 to 6. For Labrador City, actually seeing some sunshine today, but quite cold. -23 degrees is your daytime high. 11 degrees into St. John's, Newfoundland, starting off with rain, at times heavy, transitioning over to a wintry mix into the evening. For Saturday's forecast, temperatures really starting to cool down, even when you factor in that wind chill early in the morning. So keep that in mind if you are heading out. We are expecting flurries for much of the Maritime region, and then into Saturday night, we're going to start to see some showers move into Nova Scotia. And then for Sunday's forecast, another cooler day ahead. We are dealing with a wintry mix for parts of New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. For Nova Scotia, looking at rain throughout your day. And then into Corner Brook, looking at snow with a bit of a risk of freezing rain. Into Sunday, though, in the afternoon, starting to see it clear out before another low pressure system makes its way over, Crystal.
All right, thanks, Latavia. It's 8:48. Now, with all the winter weather, prioritizing skin care can help you keep your skin healthy, hydrated, glowing. And if you're looking to try some new organic products, check out Glomalin, a maritime natural skincare brand. To learn more, we welcome Angela Hughes, the founder of Glomalin. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning.
So tell us about your skincare brand. What led you to come up with a concept?
The concept came about because in 2016, my husband had cancer and he went through an alternative treatment in the US that got us onto organic foods and changing our lifestyle. And we looked at if we could switch to skincare products that had the same philosophy. So no chemicals, organic, plant-based. And at that time, there really wasn't a lot on the market. So we decided to try to come up with our own products that we could use for ourselves. And we shared them with our friends and family, and that's how the company was started.
So what kind of ingredients do you use in your products?
All of our ingredients come from plants. They're essential oils and carrier oils, plant-based wax, and we have most of them come from organic farming practices, but some of them are not organic because we're unable to get them. But for the most part, we're probably about 80% organic ingredients.
Well, I was visiting the website, and you have skin products for all kinds of conditions, from clearing skin to helping with anti-aging. What's your best-selling product?
This product is our best-selling product, our moisturizing face cream. It sells 10 times more than any of our other products. And the main ingredient in it is avocado oil, which is known to boost collagen production. So long-time use of it will reduce wrinkles and will give you a lifting effect on your skin.
Wow, that sounds pretty great. What if people, I guess I've seen that people are noticing your products outside of the Maritimes. Maybe tell us a little bit about a review you received or some kind of attention you've received from far afield, excuse me.
Well, we actually started the company in Ontario, and then when my husband retired, we moved to Atlantic Canada and moved the company. But we've got a lot of reviews from all over Canada, and I think one of my favorite reviews, though, is from someone right here in New Brunswick who said that it was the best thing they put on their skin in their life. And that's pretty amazing.
That is pretty amazing for sure. What is your favorite product that you create?
My favorite product is the moisturizing face cream. Okay. I use it every day.
All right, well, sounds wonderful. Can't wait to try it. Thank you so much for joining us, Angela.
Okay, thank you very much.
We put a link to Glomalin Skincare on our website, so you can check it out for yourself. It's now 8:41. We'll be back to wrap up the show right after this.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
Hey, it's 8:55. So earlier in the show, we had our Move Morning Chat. We were talking about what makes your neighborhood so special. Wait till you hear about this first story in particular, this text from a viewer. This is a place in Cape Breton, and I want to move there. So Brittany from Georges River says, we are so lucky to live in such a small, friendly neighborhood where everyone knows everyone and everyone is so friendly. But what makes it so special is the last few years, we started doing a neighborhood barbecue. So we plan it all year long, and at the end of the summer, all the neighbors go over to the park with barbecue, snacks, and coolers with drinks. And we have neighbors who sing and play guitar. We bring things like washer toss. We get a bouncy tent for the kids, and usually have games and stuff like kites and bubbles, all the fun stuff. We all just hang out and socialize for the afternoon and just feel so, so nice. I feel lucky to live in a neighborhood that makes all of this possible.
Oh, I just might be swinging by your neighborhood at the end of the summer next year.
And Nancy from Paradise is my community. We have a nice little takeout restaurant called Pearls in Paradise. She says it's seasonal. It's a hit for all near and far. They have a photo here. And they're all well known for their banana splits and Hattie Bits.
Wow.
Okay. Let's get there. Yum,
Add that one to the list. Thanks, you two, for submitting your text.
Yay! We love hearing from our viewers. All right, we're going to wrap up the show. We're going to have a wonderful show planned for you on Monday. That starts at 6 a.m. In the meantime, enjoy the weekend. Stay safe out there. I'd say stay dry, but there's so much happening. Just handle the weather. Dress for the weather.
And enjoy your runs as well. Have a great weekend.